topic I want to discuss when it comes to the emotions of this episode here
Oh, great.
and all the other ones. But yeah, we're live. Hey! Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, episode number 88 of My Cup of Tea, baby. We're only 12 away from the big 100. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Evan.
What is up? We're alive. Yeah, holy crap. Like The Last of Us. Christmas came early, Nathan. Christmas came early, and we got The Last of Us. I mean, it's a blue Christmas. Because it was very depressing yesterday's Friday night Last of Us episode, which was so much fun. Holy crap. A lot of great stuff, a lot of divergences from the game, but great similarities to the game. A lot of, again, we keep saying this, but the divergences from the game have been very impactful. They haven't been like, oh, we're going to do things differently just for the sake of it. It's always been very much character driven. And that was definitely the case yesterday. But overall, I'm excited for today's episode. Last of Us, family trailer, and then Disney sequel. A lot of good stuff today.
Boy. Well, where to begin?
Let's take a step back. I know we're still processing. I know audience is like, what did you think of episode 5, The Bloater? But let's take a step back. Last time we talked on My Cup of Tea, we talked about just episode 3, ending it with the heartbreaking Bill and Frank episode.
Yeah.
Bill and Frank have died. Joel and Ellie got their game clothes on, with the green flannel for Joel, the red shirt for Ellie. And they set off towards Wyoming to go find Tommy. On the way to Wyoming, though, episode 4, they had to get some gas. And it's funny seeing Joel trying to siphon some gas, and Ellie's like, how does that work? He's like, the gravity. The gravity. I love Pedro's Joel. He's just amazing every day as Joel.
You don't know. I know it works.
Yeah, I just know it works. It's so gruff. But while they're siphoning gas, Nathan, what pops out of Ellie's backpack?
Ladies and gentlemen,
woo!
The moment you all been waiting for, the pinnacle of any dad's arsenal. Pun book, baby.
Pun book. And I was so happy. I didn't know when it was going to happen. Of course, I think in the game it happens. Well, yeah. You're just in the hotel level, and she's out pops the pun book. You're like, okay, whoa, this is happening.
I don't recall Ellie breaking that out in the game for some reason.
Really?
I only recall it from the Left Behind DLC. I don't recall it being in the Joel story.
Yeah. It started in the Joel story. Oh, was it? I guess it was in Left Behind. I forgot about that too.
Or if I do remember, I feel like I only remember the pun book in like the flashback of the game of part 2.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. But yeah, I think I remember it fondly because every time I would play Last of Us, at least on a different system, like PS3 to PS4 to PS5, there's a trophy to listen to all of Ellie's optional pun jokes.
I did not stop.
Because whenever it comes up, you can have the option just like, hey, Ellie, let me listen to your jokes, or you just go back into the just walk up, whatever.
Hit triangle or look for other stuff.
Exactly, basically.
Spam.
And it starts in the Pittsburgh level when you're in the hotel and you're getting higher and higher, and she's like, oh, you know what? I'm getting bored. Here's a pun. But yeah, I like that in the show, it comes off naturally, and it's very funny. It's very awkward, but that's the beauty of the pun book. And Joel is kind of like, okay, this is weird. Like, he knows Ellie is a weird kid. But it's great seeing Ellie get this childlike humor from this pun book a little bit. It was really fun.
Oh, yeah. And also the fact that like it is like the 1-for-1 same puns from the game. I was like, no way. Oh, that was a good one. Like,
yeah. Especially the diarrhea one at the end. That was awesome. But yeah, it's so good. And then so in the game, we just go from Pittsburgh, or we go from Billstown to Pittsburgh. We get that great car scene, and we get a 1-for-1 car scene here as they continue on their way towards, in this case, Kansas, not Pittsburgh. Craig mentioned some episode 4 podcast, but like it's not because he doesn't like Pittsburgh, but it's just like in terms of distance to where they needed to go, it felt logical to go to someplace like Kansas. Plus, where they were filming, like in Calgary, I think it was Calgary. I don't know where they were filming. I believe it's Calgary. The city resembled more so a Kansas City, so they're like, you know what? Let's just say Kansas City. And where the city is doesn't matter. It's all about what happens in the city, which we'll get into because she gets down. But yeah, so it was great just going to the car ride and her going through, for example, like Bill's porno magazine. Like, oh, what is all this? Oh, how do you walk with that thing? Oh, why are some pages here sticky? Like, it was.
Oh no!
He goes like,
it's funny because in the game, Joel's just kind of like he's kind of speechless, but Pedro feels even more just like, how the fuck do I explain this?
Yeah, he's like driving. He's like, put that away, throw it away.
Hey, what are you showing me?
Yeah, but she's joking around. Bye, dude.
1 for 1.
It was so great. It was really 1 for 1. And the beauty of these early scenes in the episode 4 specifically, was really where we got to see Joel and Ellie bond. That was a big takeaway from episode 4. Was like we're seeing Joel and Ellie bond through these fun, lighthearted moments. I see it in the beginning of the episode and at the very end where Joel finally laughs. But they're bonding also through heartbreak, through tragedy, through violence. There's some she gets down here. We get some violent scenes here in episode 4. But it was really great seeing layers of Joel crack, a little bit open here, as kind of bonding through these jokes that Joel isn't really laughing at first, but you know it grows on him. Also I forgot to mention before they make it to Kansas City, we get that great camping scene. Where they're eating like 20-year-old ravioli.
It never looks so good. I love me some Chef Boyardee.
I haven't had Chef Boyardee in a minute.
It's good when you're broke.
It's pretty cheap, right? It's like what, a couple bucks? Like
yeah, it's maybe like a buck and some change per can.
Exactly. Nice. That's your dinner, baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it never goes old. But in
point of
yeah.
Sorry, this nothing to do with anything, but a little. You want to get more bang for your buck with Chef Boyardee. I recommend getting the mini ravioli because I swear to God, you get more in it than a regular one. I swear.
You get more ravioli or more meat?
Yes.
All of it.
1 for 1.
Nice. But yeah, there's a cute scene where they're like going to bed. They're in their separate sleeping bags. And Ellie is like, "Oh, mine smells good. Like he must have got Frank's then." But yeah, they're laying down, trying to go to bed. And then as they're going to bed, Ellie is the one that initiates, like, "Hey, I got a joke" or something like that. Like,
can I ask you a serious question?
Yeah, can I ask you a serious question? It's this instance of like Ellie trying to like keep Joel awake or kind of like bond a little bit at night. Yeah. That's what I took from it. But then it gets parallel at the end of the episode, just fast forwarding it a little bit, when Joel is the one saying like, "Hey Ellie, like, are you still awake?" Like he wants to know more about her. It was very interesting. Again, they're bonding. But yeah, long story short, in the morning they make their way to Kansas City and they're lost. They're a little bit lost. They get to the highway, but the highway's blocked. Joel's like, "Fuck, we'll have to go all the way around." And on the way to going around, oh boy, we get the scene from the game.
Oh no! I saw him. I was like, "Don't go out there. Don't open the door.
Don't stop." Also, prior to that, it was very funny seeing Joel like go outside, like try and like look under the truck. I'm like, what if they were just snipers and Joel just got shot randomly? Like, it felt very risky to go outside like that. That's just me. But anyways, back to the scene. The guy's like, "Oh, help me, I'm hurt. Stop the car." And Joel's like, in the game, Joel's like, he ain't even hurt. But I don't think he says that in the show. He just says like, "Put on your seatbelt. Like, we're not stopping. Like,
we're gonna help him." Nope.
Yeah, he just says nope. Keep on driving. Did you run over the? Yeah, no. The guy dodges, and then that's
like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh yeah. And the guy, you see the guy above, like drops something down there to swerve the car into the direction of the gas station. Yeah, everything is all chaotic. Shit hits the fan. They crash.
I didn't thing was in the game is like they slashed the tires.
Wait, say it again.
I think it was in the game. Like when they're trying to drive around, they have spikes on the road, so their tires get slashed.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, the tire slashed this time. I don't think. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if that happened in the game or not.
I just think they kind of got like overrun and thrown off road. This was like send them spinning, so them crashing in the laundromat.
Yeah, in the game, remember they have like a decoy bus that comes in and like rams into Joel and Ellie, and then they swerve like, oh shit. And then in the game, the characters like pull Ellie out.
Yeah,
And then Joel has to like fight them inside the gas station. That doesn't happen in this one. This one's just like they're outside shooting at them, or Joel and Ellie had to like crawl out. It was very tense. Like the thing I love about The Last of Us is it's a very violent game, of course, because every level there has to be some action, but the choice has been very reserved when it comes to action.
I think it takes like an ideal from the game that is even more amplified here, which is like the violence isn't like it isn't random. It isn't just cause like every like act of violence has an impression and a purpose on the characters.
Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, we get a great shootout. Joel's going off, and the sniper tells Ellie to get down. There's like a little crevice in the other wall across from them that she manages to get into while he's giving her cover fire. And then he manages to kill both of them. Everything seems fine. Ellie's like nervous as hell. But then there's another one. While Joel's like unprepared, he doesn't see it coming, and this is a weak point for Joel. And then Joel nearly dies. This is a crazy scene because as we later learn, I think the guy's name ends up being Brian. I think he said, "Hey, my name's Brian. Hey, we're gonna have to do this." But it's like Joel is nearly like getting killed here. Ellie is like hearing it from behind the wall. Then she comes behind him with the gun that she got from Frank's in Bill's house. She wasn't supposed to get a gun, but she does. And she shoots the guy in the back.
This is an important, very important one that also has another mirroring importance that I'll get to in episode 5. When Ellie goes up and shoots the guy, which we actually come to find that when she shoots him in the back, in the spine, and paralyzes the guy unintentionally.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's awful because you not only injured this human, he's suffering in the pain. But it's a big thing is when she shoots him, they don't cut away to the act of the shot. They stay focused on Ellie's face in that moment and the impression of that act of violence.
Mm-hmm. And she's like shocked by it. Not shocked, but yeah, just like stunned by like what she did.
Yeah, as we're activated, but not in a good way.
Yeah, because we talked about this, that interesting quote from Craig in episode 1, where he said, in the podcast episode, he's like, when Joel was protecting her, she was activated, and she liked it. She likes having somebody care about her, protect her. She wasn't used to having a parent, and she's not used to somebody going out of her way for her, especially in such a big act of violence. And now, a little small role reversal here, as Ellie has to be the one to protect Joel. And when she was activated in episode 1, she likes the notion of somebody protecting her out of love, or not love necessarily, just that notion of protection, that paternal protection that she never had. But in this case, when she saves Joel, there's a lot that goes down here, as you said, where Ellie, now she sees like what it feels like to protect somebody. She knows what it feels like to actually wound somebody, a human. This whole season so far, she keeps asking like, are the clickers human inside? Have you ever killed somebody or whatever? She's having these questions. Later on,
kid, so she's trying to get an understanding of it all.
Exactly.
Like she will be in these situations of acts of violence. But it's funny because it feels like a lot of people are taking it from a point of view that, you know, Ellie was activated in episode 1, and then episode 3 opening, she's kind of just like carving that clicker's face, like, oh, Ellie's a fucking psycho. It's like, no, it's more so deeper than that. Like, as I said in the podcast from the moment episode 1, the activated moment, like she wants that, you know, that aggressive power, not to like aimlessly use it, but because she wants that protection for herself. You know,
Mm-hmm.
episode 3 when she's like carving that clicker, it's not just because like, oh, this is like, ooh,
It's so cool.
it's like like when we get to the moments in the flashback, when we get to the Riley stuff and the Left Behind, we'll know like why she's so aggressive against these clickers. And then here she's trying to get an understanding of like how things are going, and like how it feels to like hurt somebody, because she's now in this moment, and like, oh, she has the power, because ultimately gathering all this stuff, it's not just to like go on a rampage to kill people, it's to protect the people she cares about, which is very much coming to the point of Joel, because we'll get to that scene later down the line when they have the argument of like, everyone she ever cared about has left or died.
That scene, I think, spoiler alert for the game and everything like that. Spoiler for the game. That scene, I think, has to be coming up in next week's episode. It's my favorite scene from the game.
It does.
Yeah.
Now, I'm trying to remember. Didn't that scene initially take place before that Henry and Sam?
No. Yeah, the whole like about I care about you scene, and like I'm not Sarah, that kind of thing.
Okay, because they're talking like somebody comes in to interrupt the conversation, and now I'm blanking.
It's Tommy. It's Tommy. So
it's Tommy. Okay,
it happens in the dam sequence of the game where Ellie is getting moved over to Tommy and his wife Maria, who we see also in next week's episode. And Joel's like, you move on, like this is where you go. But at this point in the game, she doesn't want to leave Joel, so she runs away. Joel chases after her. A lot of do-da-da. They make it to the cabin, and Ellie's like, I'm not like Sarah. Like, I'm tired of people running away from me. Everybody but you, Joel. And then Joel's like, you ain't my daughter.
You have no idea what loss is.
You have no idea what loss is.
Which is in the trailer.
Which is, again, my favorite scene in the game. It's a big emotional turning point for them. And then my other favorite scene is 5 seconds after that when they're on the hill. And Joel's like, Ellie, get off Tommy's horse. Come on here. Let's go to Utah. I'm like, let's go.
You know damn well that's going to be like the kickoff episode's the argument. And by the end of the episode, we're going to get that moment.
Yeah. I mean, in the trailer, it looks like we're getting a lot next week. It looks like we're getting Tommy meets Joel. We also get the university as well. And I'm oh shit, that's like you're zooming past the dam level, but zooming through the university. Granted, the university in the game is pretty short, especially if I expect them to exclude the whole bloater infected. There's some infected sequence in there that you can easily skip over. So the university in and of itself is a very small level in a TV sense. In a game, it's like, oh, let me explore. It takes a while. But in the show, it can just be like, boom, boom, we're there. It's like, it's very quick.
I'm trying to remember. The town that Tommy is in, come
Jacksonville.
I think it's just Jackson, right? I'm from Jacksonville.
Oh, Nathan from Jacksonville.
Time Blazers in Jacksonville.
Boom, it's Jackson. Yes,
it's the plug, baby. Follow Time Blazers.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so when we get to Jackson and we have that is that the same town that they kick off game 2 in?
Yes.
Okay, so then I could definitely see them wanting to establish the sense of the town in this first season here, and then when we get to the start
season 2, season 3, you can
we'll get a familiarity of this town and like the community and the camaraderie of it.
Exactly, because in the game you don't really see Jackson at all. It only shows like you see it from a distance. You don't really see the inside of it until part 2.
I would especially love to like get more moments of Joel being a part of the town, because when we get to a certain point in game 2, there's a sense where the community comes together at Joel's house that he ends up having with a lot of beautiful moment there. So I would love for them to like branch out more depth, for which the whole season of the show has been doing thus far with many different moments.
Exactly. I'm expected to get some, again, divergences in terms of location next week, but we're going to see a lot of good Joel moments, hopefully. Joel and Tommy. I love me some Gabriel Luna.
Gabriel Luna.
I was so close. I was like, yeah, Gabriel. Anyways, though, yeah, this scene with Ellie is very interesting because, yeah, she's so used to Joel protecting her. But when she has to do it, when she's in the position, she's sad, but she's sad that she's getting sad. Like she walks away and she removes the tears like in a hurried way, and then she tries to move on with the conversation. Like, okay, let's block the door or whatever. Like she tries to move away from it later on and forget about it, even though she's clearly affected by it. But she wants to put up a facade in front of Joel.
I think she did have like a sense of sympathy and humanity, just in the fact that like, oh, I hurt somebody and they're in pain and I'm watching this.
And it was great to see in the scene drag out too. Like these are the moments in the game where you're like, you have your shotgun pinned on them. They're like, you don't got to do this, man. Like, these are scenes that you can drag out in the game, but they dragged it out here in the show for big emotional effect.
Yeah, and it could have just like stopped up, just like, oh my god, I heard someone like that. Oh shit! But like, he is begging for his life for a while,
for a long time. Hey guys, my name is Brian. You can have this knife.
I'll tell him you were good. I didn't know before.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys before. It's like, oh my god, it was a lot, and it's all because we know the inevitable. Like, there's no way in hell he's gonna survive. And Joel kills the guy using the knife that he gave to Joel. Because hey, why would I waste a bullet on you?
Yeah, you don't want to waste ammo, and it sucks because I'm listening to the guy, and like I know he's saying everything he can to get out of the situation, but at the same time I'm like, oh, what if there is truth to this?
Nathan, you're so fat.
I know. I'm in touch with you, man.
This guy would be so dead. This guy would never uttered his name. I'd be like, my name's Brian. I would have smacked his head.
But isn't that been the whole thing with Joel, like in his character?
True.
He's just kind of like, he goes, guns blazing to obviously to protect his kin, but it affects other people. We know this. That's the whole point of the game too.
Is episode 4? By the way, this is the episode where he says like, I think going back during the car ride, she's like, "What do you fight for? Like, what do you fight for if you don't believe in like the Fireflies?" Or she's like talking about Tommy. And
it was like,
why, he mentions like, because like Tommy, we get a little bit of history about Tommy, and he says like, we joined this gang, we did a lot of bad things, and then he joined the Fireflies. He quit that too. And Joel basically saying like, I did a lot of things to protect Tommy, but we also did a lot of bad things in general. And this whole cure thing is like, might not even happen. And Ellie's like, well, it's nice to believe in something. Like, why do you want to keep on surviving if you don't want to believe in anything? He's like, well, I keep on fighting for family. And she's like, well, who am I to you then? He's like, cargo.
Like, I'm not family. Nope, you're cargo.
Cargo. Great line. Yeah.
Get some sleep. I'm not even tired.
Yeah, that was great. But yeah, going back to Kansas now. That whole scene is very great. Joel is clearly stunned by it. Like in the game, I was taking it back because in the game, Joel hated when she saved him. This takes place after the elevator sequence where you get out of the bloater area. Joel's climbing the ladder. He gets pushed down the ladder. He nearly gets drowned by a hunter inside the hotel. Ellie pops up, shoots the guy in the face. Joel's like, whoa. But he doesn't say thank you. He's upset because Ellie is the one that used a gun without his permission. She could have gotten killed. She disobeyed his orders. These are 3 things that he said do not do after leaving Bill's house. And she clearly disobeyed that. So in the game, he was upset. He doesn't say thank you. Ellie, for the rest of that, for a little bit more after that sequence, is sulking about. She's sad until you get to this sniper sequence where Joel doesn't apologize, but he gives her the sniper rifle and lets her protect him as he goes to clear out these hunters in like this big courtyard area. It was a very heartwarming scene, but I think the show, necessarily so, doesn't have the hotel, doesn't have time for Ellie to mope around in an episode and be upset with Joel and for Joel to be upset with Ellie. But they clearly bond quicker in the show, and I was kind of taken aback by it at first, but rewatching it, I'm like, okay, I kind of like how quickly Joel's like, you know what, keep the gun. teaching her how to use the gun. It's funny because he's like, who taught you how to do that? Like Fedra. He's like, figures. Like, because at first, like in the gas station, she clearly knows how to use a gun in the first scene of the episode. But in this one, like
unloading and stuff.
She's unloading it and stuff. But then Joel continues to help her out here when they get to Kansas City after the big incident. But then also he asks her, like, when they're holed up and they're just chilling, he finally says, like, "Are you okay?"
Or like, she asked him first, and then that's when he's just kind of like lingering for, like, he pauses in the silence, and he's like, "Are you okay?" That's when he really starts to open up. Just like, no kid should have to go through what you did. I'm sorry that you were in that situation.
And what does she say, Nathan? She says, "This wasn't my first time."
Right.
You know, and Joel kind of like taken aback by this. It's not until later in the episode he asks, like, "Do you want to talk about it?" And she doesn't say anything. But that was interesting. Like, again, quickly going to spoilers for Left Behind and the games. She doesn't kill a human in Left Behind. At least in the flashbacks, she doesn't.
No,
right? It's just infected.
Right, it's just infected. But granted, infected look pretty damn close to human.
Okay, yeah, I'm just curious. Like, when she says this is my first time, do you think she's talking about infected?
I would think so. I don't think she, because I was also like, I don't recall human death.
Because Left Behind, I always get confused. I'm like, in Left Behind, you play as Ellie and you're killing people, but it's like a present day Ellie, and then you go to flashback Ellie with Riley. So it's like, I always get confused. But yeah, so I think that's what she's talking about. Like, I killed an infected before. I used a gun before. I killed something before. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh wait, is Craig gonna twist it up a little bit? Is he gonna say, like, in episode 8 or whatever, that she actually killed a human in the mall? But we'll see.
It would be interesting if it, like, got to a point where, like, it was like if maybe, like, while they're running, it's a newly infected guy who's like, maybe like trying to be like, "Oh no, don't go, save me, please," and it's like a freak out moment.
Nathan, dang, don't give Craig ideas. I haven't already from the season.
I wish to follow this Craig man. He's private on Twitter. I wish to know.
Yeah, Craig, follow us on Time Blazer. Follow this podcast.
Follow us on Time Blazer. Please become a co-writer on Time Blazer and break even more hearts than I already intend to.
Sponsor Time Blazer. Get us on HBO. Get us in the room.
You know they're going to cancel its animation.
Oh, that's a great point. HBO.
I'm going to lose the files.
Well, you know, Velma, make it more raunchy, Nathan.
I have to piss off I have to garner a following and then screw them.
Nice.
But the episode here.
But yeah, so back in the episode, in general, it was very sweet seeing Joel and Ellie. Like, Joel's like, I think Ellie says, "You're really bad at this." When Joel's like, "Are you okay?" Like, whatever. Yeah. And then when they're getting ready to leave, Joel's like, I'm gonna get you out of this. We're gonna make it through. And then he's like, "I believe you." But then we cut away from Joel and Ellie. And again, this is the beauty of The Last of Us, and just good shows in general. You can break away from your main characters, people. In great TV shows, they do that. I mean, great. There's a lot of great TV shows that don't do that, but regardless, I liked it in this episode because we got to flesh out the enemies. Joel and Ellie just got finished killing 3 hunters, but Craig is like, you know what? Let's take a step back and understand where these hunters are coming from, this group, and what really drives them. And in this instance, we cut to this abandoned building, and this guy being interrogated. And who walks up? Melanie Linsky, the great Melanie Linsky from Yellow Jacket. She's a great actress. Her name in this show is called Kathleen.
I feel like I know her from something else. She looks familiar.
She probably been in something else, but I've recently known her in Yellow Jackets, and I can't recall where else she's been. But yeah, she's a very beloved actress, and she's a great friend of Craig's. When Craig was thinking of this character, she was the first person that came to mind.
Yes, I know her from The Last of Us. No. Great. Scrolling through this. I don't know. I feel like it's like she seems so familiar. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I think so she was on like a lot of famous TV shows like Psych and House and
Never watched it.
Right. I haven't really seen a lot of episodes. She's in Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I intend to watch. I haven't seen yet.
Never seen it.
Okay, but I think I know her specifically from the Hayden Christensen film Shattered Glass, which I've recently seen.
I love that movie.
I like it a lot.
I've never seen it.
Log into my Voodoo, goddammit. I own it.
I heard it's pretty good.
It's quite good. It's in between. It's 2003, so it's in between Clones and Sith for Hayden. If you want to see a performance there,
he was practicing how to be revenge Anakin.
Right.
But yeah, we meet Melanie Linsky's name is Kathleen, leader of the resistance in this area. We get some more backstory in episode 5, but from here we learn that hey, the guy that she's interrogating delivered her. Oops. I helped deliver you, Kathleen. And she wants to know where Henry and Sam are. Alert! This is a big divergence from the game as well, where in Pittsburgh, Henry and Sam meet Joel and Ellie in a abandoned house. They're just trying to escape the city. They have no relation to the hunters. They're just trying to run. These hunters are crazy. But in the TV show, these hunters are crazy. But we're learning some more about their mentality. And it looks like Henry and Sam, or Henry specifically, betrayed Kathleen's brother in episode 4. All we get really is like, oh, Sam or Henry ratted out my brother.
Did she even say that?
I think so. Like she said something along the lines of Henry betrayed me, or Henry's like
okay.
Like, but there's some kind of notion that Henry did something bad.
Yeah, like it was kept vague, and I was sitting here as a player of the game, just like, what in the goddamn fuck could he have done to warrant the entire city after him? Yeah, and it's mainly just like her commanding the city.
Yes, yeah. The city doesn't really care, but Kathleen cares, hence the city cares.
But I guess they also care about her brother, who was a very upstanding God, it sounds like Mr. Rogers, like you killed Mr. Rogers or something. Like,
since we're combining episode 4 and 5 in this podcast, we can just talk about it now. But in general, Kathleen's talking about how Henry betrayed me, and then as we learn in episode 5, Henry betrayed Kathleen by selling out her brother to Fedra. And it was so interesting. In episode 5, we learned that they betrayed him very recently, like 10 days prior. I thought it was a longer time.
Is that when that happened? I thought it may have been before that.
I thought they said just like 10 days.
I know, because I know they displayed when they're in hiding 10 days go by, but I figured they had been on the run for quite a bit, because they're like he's already like rationing food, just like, oh shit, oh fuck. Like,
okay, you're right.
He's already low on ammo.
I figured it was a recent takeover, but maybe I gotta rewatch it.
Because I think like episode 5 opens on the takeover.
Yes.
And ultimately Henry and Sam are already on the run. So you can imagine like there was already resistance going on with her brother. But then, ultimately time goes on.
Yeah, exactly. But it was great seeing Kathleen here. She's very ruthless. She walks outside because of something. Oh yeah, she walks outside because Perry comes in. Perry, played by Tommy from the game,
right? Which I didn't know while watching episode 4. I had never seen the actual voice actor of Tommy. Yeah. Like I've seen Troy and Ashley a bunch, but no, I've never seen the voice actor for Tommy until the show.
It was great. Yeah, he got to play a great character. Hopefully, he survives. Right? No.
I guess they could not have a scene where his character and Gabriel talk to one another, because that sounds too one alike.
That would have been amazing. Like, he just makes his way to Wyoming. I finally found you guys. He just like tracks them down.
I want to buy all your chocolate.
Headless corpse. She walks outside. Brian has been killed, along with 2 other people have been killed by some person. She believes this to be Henry and Sam. This angers her even more. She walks back in there, just shoots the guy. And we don't even see the guy just fall. We just see the guy get killed. And then, basically the rest of the episode is her saying, let's go door to door. We have to find Henry and Sam and whoever else is in Kansas City now.
Right.
'Cause I think they got the notion that like, hey, it might not just be Henry and Sam, it could be someone else. Let
But
me
there's
go.
a little something else going on as well.
Oh yeah, please tell me.
He finds uh the Tommy actor, I don't remember his name, but
Perry.
he Harry, he finds hey, something else is going on, and they open this door and there's a bit of a crack in the ground here. Yeah, it's moving. Should we do something about this? Not the top priority. And we don't know really as of that episode, but it's revealed by Henry in the next episode that they drove the infected underground.
Yeah, very smart.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe you want to send something in there to finish them for good.
Some pesticides, some infected pesticides.
Some
No. But yeah, that was a terrifying sequence. You just see the ground rumble. I'm like, oh, just shivers go like immediately go up my spine.
yeah.
So I thought episode 5 was gonna be about like the bloater coming from that location, but they can walk, they traveled.
A lot of noise going on in the gunfire.
Exactly, in the suburbs. But also prior to that scene, we got Kathleen and Perry going through what seemed to be Henry and Sam's little hideout. They come across all these cans of paint and the cans of food. They're like, they just left recently. Like, we're so close, we got to go find them. And that's basically it. And then you get the bloater scene.
And lo and behold, I think we did that. Basically, would get us to episode 5. Joe and Ellie taking a nap in the.
But yeah, Joe and Ellie go to the high-rise building, climb up 45 stairs. I really like the scene though. Again, paralleling whatever to the beginning of the episode when Ellie's telling the joke, but this time Ellie's telling jokes again, the diarrhea joke, and Joel laughs. Like he laughs, they're bonding, and then he even like wakes her up to say like, "Hey, do you want to talk about like what happened?"
He does that first before the joke.
Oh, before the joke, yeah. And it's just Joel trying to like wake up Ellie instead of Ellie trying to wake up him. Like Joel wants to know more. Joel's actively talking more. It was just very sweet.
He wants to make sure that she's okay.
Exactly. And then Ellie doesn't really tell him. Ellie's still keeping secrets of her own about what happened in the mall.
She's more like Joel than Joel realizes, you know?
Exactly. They're both keeping secrets from each other. Joel has not told Ellie what happened to Sarah, and Ellie has not told Joel what happened with Riley.
Right. And that, which will be a big... Is that around the campus when they open up?
When does Joel talk about Sarah?
Because does that prompt him to take her from Tommy?
No, the campus part is after Tommy. Okay. But yeah, I think Joel or Ellie learns about Sarah via like Tommy and them. I think.
Yeah, I think they might swap those stories like right before Joel gets incapacitated for a bit.
That would make sense. I don't even know in the game if Joel or if Ellie really like says, "Hey, Joel, this is what happened with me and Riley." I don't think that ever happens.
I think it'll maybe not, but I think she does say some stuff here and there, and I think it'll be like they'll exchange like you lost Sarah, I lost.
Yeah, we both lost some people. Basically, they'll say.
Yeah. Spoilers for the game. I think we're kind of in that territory. We have to talk spoilers.
In the TV show, I expect, like you say, like I expect them to go deeper into context. I expect Ellie to say like, "Hey, this is what happened to me," and George to say like, "Hey, this is what happened." Because we have to get to the point where in the next episode, Ellie's like, "I'm not Sarah," so like she learns basically what happened with Sarah,
which I think is going to be fueling the argument, right? For between them.
Exactly. I think like Maria tells her like off screen, "This is what happened," and then Joel's like, "You're treading on mighty thin ice there, Ellie. You have no idea what loss is."
Right, and they're which is gonna prompt another great scene between Joel and Tommy when Tommy's like, "Hey, I saved something," and it's the photo of Joel and Sarah, and he's like, "I'm good.
Take that with you." Yeah. And then we learn later in the game that Ellie took it with her.
Yeah, which ultimately Joel has framed in his house in Jackson.
In part 2. But yeah, so it was really great here. Just seeing Joel and Ellie bond, and they fall asleep. They wake up to Henry and Sam.
Yeah. I think Joel fell asleep on his bad ear.
On his bad ear, not great.
Turning toward Ellie, making sure she was safe at night.
Exactly. Like it's Joel. How do I say it? It's like Joel getting relaxed, getting not being as prepared as he should be.
Now that's an interesting thing because
part 2.
Well, actually, I was watching this interview with Troy Baker and Ashley and Neil and the interviewer, talking about the unfortunate moment of game 2 with Joel. Is that the moment when he comes face to face with Abby? He was talking about how like the one time he let his guard down and like just trusted an individual out in the world is when shit went sideways.
Yeah, it's like Joel, and this is something that happens with the audience. Like Joel shouldn't have done that. Like you can say that in episode 4 here, like Joel should have been smarter than that. But it's like
he laid the glass.
People always make mistakes. You can prepare as much as you can, but you can't escape from fate, or you can't escape from like people being human. Exactly, people being normal or growing, whatever. But anyways, we meet Henry and Sam here. And it was great seeing them. And like at the end, we get the whisper. But in episode 5, we get the first thing you'll get is a flashback, right? We don't get Henry and Sam.
We get the flashback, which is 10 days prior.
10 days prior. And
it's
a revolution.
Yeah, they're sneaking around. Now, this was interesting. So like they're sneaking around before they get up to the attic where the doctor who got shot is who found the place for them.
Yeah.
Hiding them. And this was interesting because initially we're introduced to Henry and Sam, and Henry is using sign language to communicate with Sam. Now, Evan, I thought they were just doing that to sneak around because in the game,
me too.
Sam is not deaf. But then, obviously they're the doctor and Henry are chatting back and forth very openly, very loud, very, they're secure. They're fine. They can communicate. But then he goes over to Sam, and he's still signing with them.
And I'm like, oh, wait, he's actually deaf.
And at that moment, Evan, it's at that moment I start crying. I start tearing up already because it's goddamn it, it's so much more tragic.
That he's deaf and dies? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, God, it's even more an infliction that just like, you see even more of their bond and communication because they've overcome that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just watching this helpless kid who's 8 in the show. And
it's sad.
And I know what's to come. And I was saying this when I was doing my video for it. I sat down and I was like, I never know how they can wrap up a whole emotional arc for a select amount of characters in such a short amount of time. I'm like, this episode's an hour. Can they really stick this landing when we have other stuff going on in an hour? And Evan, they have me in 5 minutes already.
Yeah. It's funny because people are worried about next week going through a lot of content. But if this episode really proves how much you can get through and still be very emotionally impactful, this episode goes through the Henry and Sam encounter, escaping Pittsburgh/Kansas City, going through the sewers level, going through the suburbs level, and getting to Henry and Sam's demise, all within 50 minutes, and including some scenes with Kathleen, original characters, getting some scenes original with the overthrow of Kansas City. Like, they're including all these new material and still going through the game, important scenes, and hitting out of the park.
They're still sticking the landing. And I think it's even more impressive, like the fact that like we have such emotional tie. And also, are they just gonna break me like every odd number episode? Because
episode 1, or basically every episode basically is breaking us. Episode 1 was
every
Sarah.
Episode's pretty sad, but they're
episode
not as severe as the odd numbers.
Episode 3 was Bill and Frank.
Tess was quite sad, but I don't think it was like hitting as like hard as like how much we linger losing Sarah. The whole Bill and Frank storyline
on the nature of daylight.
we're just kind of like camping in episode 4, even though there's some significant stuff that we're kind of building camaraderie. But then episode 5 we'll get to, but God,
you're right. And then looking ahead, episode 6 is going to be like the dam, Joel and Ellie get even closer. Hopefully we get like the lost scene, but then episode 7, I'm expecting to be left behind, and then 8 is going to be
8 could be the cannibals.
Yeah, 7 left behind, 8 David, and Troy Baker cameo.
Is he the cannibal?
No, Troy Baker. I mean, yeah, technically yes.
He's one of them.
He's like the right hand man, just like similar to how Tommy's voice actor is the right hand man to Kathleen.
Okay.
Troy Baker's gonna be the right hand man to David, I think.
Is Ashley in the show?
Do you not know who Ashley is playing? Do you forget?
I don't. Motherfucker! Is she gonna be like Maria?
It's been revealed.
Or who is she playing?
Should I say?
Should I wait? I don't know.
Should I say? Should I wait? Just tell me.
I'll wait.
Okay. It's been revealed, so you can look on it in 2 seconds on Twitter. But
Ashley is Abby.
Ashley is Abby. No, that's crazy. People are like, who's Abby? But
fucked up if she's like, if she's the doctor. But anyways,
episode 8 can be left behind, or episode 8 can be cannibal, and then episode 9, of course, is showdown at the where. I think a big strength of the show is the fact that like they stick all these emotional landings within just a contained episode. But meanwhile, each episode we have been like planting the seeds and building the relationship with Joel and Ellie. So like when we do get to that finale, I think that's going to hit the hardest. It's going to be so interesting. And I will get into, so we have big spoilers for the game later this discussion, because there's something that happens at the end of the episode of episode 5. And I'm like, oh, this is huge. This is genius. From Craig.
I hear the stuff for episode because I think it's going to be a big point with the end of the season. And I think there was a little moment between Ellie and Sam that's in the game, which I think has a big reflection in part 2 game.
Part 2. And again, part 2 is his peak. Oh, we got some comments, by the way, from
they're coming in finally. Let's see. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. Knox. Like we see them, we're like, oh shoot, like
precisely.
Immediately, that's the beauty of the game. It makes me I'm never watching this again. Call me crazy because I think I'll watch this one again. This was my favorite episode. I don't think I said it before, but yeah, this is my favorite episode of the season.
I think the only time in the immediate future that I'll be watching this is if I'm showing somebody it for the first time to just be like, hey, you want me to break you?
Yeah. A lot of these episodes is strictly pain.
You like sad?
You want to know how I got these tears? You
have no idea what loss is.
But yeah, episode 5 is that's what's crazy about great video game adaptations, where the audience can expect what's going to happen and still be just as, probably even more so, impacted than other regular audience members. Like
that's a big thing, which I don't know if I was saying that on or off air, but I don't know if things are gonna hit as hard or even harder because I've played the game. I mean, they're gonna hit, but I don't know if they would hit as hard as they are for me if I didn't know what was to come. Because like I said, they're just chilling in an attic, Evan, and I'm already losing my composure. Because, and with, how the game will differentiate specific things, I am sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, will we ever reach something that was like a tragic point that maybe, just maybe, I have a fool's hope that they'll divert and it won't happen. Maybe it won't happen this time. This is a child, Evan, and he's already inflicted enough. Maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll be
different. Yeah. I mean, even in the game, episode 3, or not in the game, in the show, episode 3, I was like, oh, we'll have Bill and Frank survive. Like, that'd be interesting. But no, they killed them both off. I'm like, oh, jeez. And then same thing happens in episode 5. Like, there's a lot of loss in this series. And
I'm getting an idea of what loss is, Evan.
We sure are. And I mentioned it in my reaction tweet. But this episode specifically deals with what the paths and what people are choosing to go towards in the notion of love, in the prospect of love. Henry and Sam, what they'll do for each other in the notion of love, and what Kathleen's doing in her pursuit of like vengeance based on love. And it's so powerful. And then of course Joel and Ellie's growth of what could possibly become love between those two. Especially given the horrific events of the end of the episode. They're bonding through tragedy. And we'll get into it, but love could be blossoming between these two, whether they like it or not, or whether they don't know it or not. But yeah, so quickly, I just want to go back before we go back to Henry and Sam. I liked seeing the like chaotic. Well, I didn't like it, but it was crazy seeing the chaotic revolution that was happening in Kansas City.
Oh yeah, and we know that they were through the QZ, which we know to be awful people.
Yeah,
but also the way y'all are going about it is like you're just using the same tactics, and it don't feel very cheery.
No, not at all. Not at all, boy.
I mean, you're free, but it's like I know during victory celebration the Ewoks are drumming empty helmets, and I don't know if they killed and decapitated the people or if it's just the helmets, but yeah. I never like lean like, oh, like hey, we beat the Empire, yay. But here it's like we beat them
and we became them.
Are we them? Yeah.
Are we the bad guys?
I mean, at this point I feel like it kind of you're using all your resources to manhunt this and
it's so fascinating because I totally we'll get to it, or I'll go to it right now.
Let's go now.
Let me go to the Kathleen. This scene I loved. It's a Kathleen scene where she's with Perry at her childhood home.
It's back to back with the reveal from Henry.
Oh yeah, with the reveal from Henry, which we'll get to in a second. But like she's saying, like from her perspective, what happened, and she loved her brother. And as a person who has a twin brother, like I could totally understand that. Like if somebody killed Jalen, for example, if Henry killed Jalen in the notion of saving Sam,
right?
Henry's dead. Henry is so dead. Like it's not even a question. Like, so I understand what Kathleen's going. Killing Sam, I don't really get. Like Sam had nothing to do with it, and at the end of the episode, she was ready to kill both of them. Yeah. But for me, I'm like, Henry, you got to go. Like. You don't kill a member of my family. That's crazy to me. So
now
view it the show, I totally understand what she's going through.
Now view it from the flip side. If Jalen was critically, ill, and
I'll do whatever it takes to save him. Yeah.
Right.
Like, Nathan, I'm selling you under the river. I'm pulling you in front.
Why me? Why is it me?
I'm talking to you.
Carson's not here.
I'm taking Carson's Kansas City ass. I'm pulling him in front of Fedra. I'm like, here, there you go. It is silver platter. No questions asked. But that's why I fucking love this show. Because I can totally understand where both characters are coming from. And again, I mentioned it in my tweet, but this is like the epitome. Episode 5 is the epitome of why I love part 2 of The Last of Us, the game. Where it's like, I can understand, in part 1, like I can understand where all of these characters are coming from. In part 1, I completely understand where Marlene's coming from when we get to the end of the game / show. And I completely understand where Joel's coming from. It is such a morally gray show, all based on this notion of love. Do I love society? Do I love a strictly family member? Do I love somebody else? Like, it's all based on love. What we do in our pursuit of love is very different, and we're all going to have very different decisions. And as Henry said earlier in the episode, I'm a bad guy. Just tell me I'm a bad guy. And Joel was just like quiet because it's like there is no bad guys. There are no bad guys. There are no good guys. Joel is definitely not a bad guy, and he's definitely not a great guy either. No. But that's why the show is so good, because it's like our depictions of who's good and who's bad just depend on the person you're talking to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I think Kathleen was a good person at one time, of course, but something tragic happened to her, and she used that pain in the pursuit of vengeance, and she can't let go of that path, and that affected her negatively. It's just so powerful, and I just love the scene where she's just so not melancholy, but she's just reminiscing with Perry.
Yeah,
and Perry's just like, your brother was a great guy, but you're a great leader. Like, he's trying to hype her up. It's a very sweet scene between two people who just killed a group of collaborators in a cage. And I'm just like, I understand what these two people are talking about. Like, I vibe with it. It's just, man, the writing in this show has just been top notch. In this episode specifically, I'm just like, I agree. I sympathize. I agree with all these different characters.
What do you think was the right choice in that scenario? Do you think
Which one?
in terms of giving up her brother to?
Oh yeah. Again, if I'm Henry, I completely agree. I would do anything in my power to save Sam.
Okay, but
Anything.
outside of it, if you are not Henry, which
Oh,
you
if
are
I'm not
not,
Henry, oh
yeah, it wasn't
like,
the right choice.
yeah,
I think so too.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think you're weighing the life of a defenseless child versus the leader of a resistance who has a fighting chance if he wanted to.
Exactly. And basically, it wasn't him that killed him; it was Fedra, but he gave him to Fedra, knowing Fedra has a strong possibility of killing him.
And based on her, her story, it seemed
Yeah.
that he wasn't killed immediately. He was captured first,
and then he was like brutally like tortured.
I get because it's Fedra, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, even like in captivity, he was like, you know, just forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very
you're right. Yeah. Which I loved. Wait, was that in the same scene where he says like?
It was,
yeah. And Kathleen's like, my brother, and she's like tearing up. She's like, my brother wanted me to forgive him. Can you believe that, Perry? Like, he would not like what I'm doing right now, but I don't care. And I was just like,
wait, hold on. Is that maybe that's what Joel would think of Ellie in part 2,
right? It's like, Nathan, like the foreshadowing is so powerful because yeah, she's like, I don't care if my brother wouldn't agree with me. This is what I need to do. This is what I think needs to happen, and I can't blame her. Some people are just have different emotional capabilities than other. Apparently, her brother, I want to say is Michael. I don't know what his name was. Let's say Michael was a very good guy, but he wasn't like when you're a leader, you gotta be willing to make the hard decisions. And I don't think he was able to do that. Granted, these new Hunter people are killing collaborators. They're slaughtering people in the streets. They were willing to kill Joel and Ellie just for passing through the city. They're not great people, Bob. As we saw it during the revolution scene, they did a lot of killing and other unnecessary, disgusting things, just like Fedra did to them.
Blindly following orders.
Exactly. They're following orders and just blindly following their revenge and their pursuits.
Where's Palpatine when you need him?
But yeah, that was a great order. But that was a great scene with Kathleen and Perry. But yeah, let's trace back. So let's go all the way back to where Henry and Sam are waking up.
They wake up Joel and Ellie.
Oh, actually, where do you want to go? Do you want to go here?
We got up to that point. I think that's good.
Okay, yeah. And it was so funny. This is a hilarious scene. I was dying of laughter. Where
it's so good.
Don't get up. Like
I don't like that tone, man.
He's like,
I didn't like it either. I was like, Joel, come on.
Joel, come on. What are you doing?
And even Ellie's like, no, he just has an asshole voice. Tell him. And he's just like, yeah, everything's fine.
Everything's fine. He's like, dude, it's like, come on.
You and Ellie was like, the fuck are you doing?
Oh, I was dying. There was a great scene and Pedro selling it for real. He's like, okay,
because it's just, I mean, that's just his true intent. That really is how he feels. Like it don't matter. Like that is Joel.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Joel realized as soon as he looked into Sam's face, like a little kid has a gun on me. Joel was never going to kill Sam, but I think he was willing to like beat up Henry if he was able to.
Sure.
But it was great, and I think you can tell the way Henry's like fidgeting with the gun. This guy hasn't really killed anybody before, and I love a lot of Henry's physical acting in this episode. He does one at the very end of the episode when they're like eating, and you can see him like his hands are still shaking when he's trying to like eat that wrapper or eat the rations inside that motel. But yeah, Henry was phenomenal. I think his name was Lamar Johnson. So was the kid. The kid was fantastic. I can't pronounce his first name, but he was really good as well. And he was actually deaf, similar to I'm trying to think.
Coda?
There's her name, not Coda, and in A Quiet Place.
Yes, that
kid actress is also deaf and very good as well. So I love when shows and movies, film, media in general uses deaf actors for deaf scenes. It's becoming much more common than what it used to be in the early 2000s and beyond. And we get some great stuff here. He was phenomenal in this episode. Both of them were. You can really feel their chemistry. But it was great seeing them interact with Joel and Ellie. And prior to that, we realized they kept him because they figured Joel was a strong guy. He took down 3 guys. They watched it happen. They watched the whole gas station incident. So they understood like where he was coming from.
I love different points of view of the same scenes in any media. It's so captivating.
It's so good. Go watch Knives Out too, because that happens a lot in that movie, and it was great there too.
That was great.
Just like the Bush scene, it's like, oh wow, okay, that's how it happened. Also, real quick, we get a heartwarming Sam and Henry moment when they were hiding out in that attic, thanks to the collaborator guy. There's a running thing in this episode where Sam is a very much Savage Starlight fan of superheroes. He paints over a lot of the attic area that they're hiding for the past 10 days at with like superhero designs. Henry sweetly like paints his eyes or paints orange paint over Sam, trying to give that like that hope, that optimism that comes with comics. Just you know. A light within the darkness for Sam, letting him be a kid again. Something that Joel really wants for Ellie. Like even episode 4, as he said, like you shouldn't have to go through that. Henry thinking the same thing for Sam.
And there's so many great moments where they get to have that, whether they're bonding over Ellie and Sam, but it's good for both of them that they're both kids being able to play with one another. They're playing soccer in the underground. They're sharing comics or reading stories, even to the end. Like Ellie's sharing with them because, like, I think outside of Riley, Ellie really hasn't had a friend since, if she had any at all.
No, you're right. Yeah, it was like Riley, and then she met Marlene for a day. But then it's just been Joel for a long period of time.
And that's going to be even more strengthening for Ellie's argument later. It's just like, oh, I had Marlene. Send me off with these people. I had Tess for a minute. Now I'm off with Joel. Now Joel's kind of turned the cold shoulder. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, like, I will not let you do this to me. Yeah. Oh, next week's going to be great.
So
yeah. And then I just like seeing Henry and Joel bonding. Henry is noticeably younger than Joel. Joel was 56. Henry's like, in his mid-20s. And then Ellie, or, Sam is 8. But I just mentioned Sam and Ellie are bonding beautifully. And we get this great scene when they're like in the next day, Henry and Joel like bonding over what their plan should be to escape the city. And Joel's very pessimistic about what they should be doing. Like there's not really that many options when they're trying to escape.
Not at all. But their plan is to go through the underground tunnels because a contact he had 3 years ago said that nobody was down there. But it's not a great plan, but it's the only plan we got.
It's the only plan we got, and it was so funny. Like there's some great levity in this episode. It's like 3 years, like maybe 1 or 2. It's like, oh fuck. It's like,
and I love when Henry signals Sam or Sam signals Henry, like, well, what did they say? It's like, oh, they said they're gonna help us, right?
Yeah, they'll help us, right?
And what, Joel gonna say no to this kid?
Like, fuck it. Like, and again, Joel knows it's the only option they got. He doesn't know the city. Henry does. So they should just roll with it. Did you expect to see some infected in the tunnels? I totally did.
I figured it'd be at least like 1 or 2 we had to like sneak past, but it's pretty barren.
Pretty barren. It worked out.
I
think it was all for the better because we know where the other clickers were. But imagine if they ran into that horde in the tunnels in the darkness. Oh my god! You just hear running and just
it's over.
Yeah.
No, this ain't Uncharted 1. I was stuck forever, dude, and I
don't know how you were stuck there.
I don't know. I was stuck. It's just like great. I had to learn the patterns of the enemy, and it was playing at night, so I was scared.
I'm scared.
I just wanted treasure.
It was great.
Anyway, so we get through and we get to the sniper house.
Yes, we do. Oh, wait, before that though, when they're in the tunnels, I like that they use the tunnels as like the sewer level. And we get that. Did you see the picture with Ish and Danny drawing There's a drawing when they go into the kindergarten school like area with the soccer goal, and there's a picture that says Danny Ish are protectors, and that image alone is a wealth of storytelling in the game. In the game, when you get to the sewer level, if you read all the notes, which everybody should do when they get to the sewer, you learn the history and story of Ish. And Ish was a person who, in the Pittsburgh level, got a boat, ran up to that island. He was kind of a lone survivor, one could say. He makes it to the sewer level, and it becomes his home. He then lets a family in because he says, I met a family one day. She had 2 kids. I said no, but then I think I should go talk to them because I've been living alone for so long. I'm getting bored. He grabs a family.
Hold on.
Yeah?
We got a family. We got a family, a woman with 2 kids. We got this man with a boat. Hold on. Is this a Quiet Place Part 2, Evan? Did Krasinski read the notes and it was like, I bet nobody else read
Probably.
Holy shit.
Yeah, in hindsight, yeah, it's pretty damn similar. But then, of course, their community grows and grows, and it goes to something bigger. But then, unfortunately, somebody makes a mistake, and they get infected and spread super quickly. And Ish and only a handful of people are the only survivors. And when they get out of the sewer level, Ish writes a note saying, like, don't go in there. They're like, well, great. We should have known that. But then you see the remains of this underground area. And as Joel says, like, a lot of people, when the pandemic hit, they went under and they created this whole community. But unfortunately, something must have happened because they're not here now. And we do see a kid clicker at the end, which if you want to connect the dots, you could assume that kid clicker was from Ish's group. Again, a kid being somebody that he did let in. He let in a lot of kids, granted, because there was community. There was kids.
I had a level of unsettlement. It's probably unintentional, but this clicker seemed to resemble a lot of Game Sarah.
Wow, Nathan, jeez.
I didn't want it. I didn't want to feel that, but I mean, it's pretty close.
I didn't even think of that. This clicker seemed younger, but yeah, that's terrifying too, Nathan. But yeah, that clicker at the end is beyond terrifying. Bloater be damned, that kid clicker was much more terrifying.
It's fast.
It's fast. It's disgusting. Just seeing a little girl's face with a clicker mutation, I wanted to barf. It was sick. It was terrifying. It should not have happened. I felt Ellie's fear in that scene. Jesus Christ. But yeah, they make their way out.
Christ.
Oh, before they make their way out, yeah. So I talked earlier about Kathleen's scene with her perspective. And we got Henry's perspective. As I mentioned earlier, he says, like, I'm a bad guy. I sold him out. And it was just a very vulnerable moment for Henry. And when he asked Joel, like, tell me I'm a bad guy, Joel is so silent, just great physical acting from Pedro, where he just doesn't say anything, doesn't kind of like sympathize, or doesn't say like, hey, it's okay, Henry, I understand what you're going through. He just like, he kind of like takes it in. And it's a great scene. But yeah, they make their way out, they survive, they go through the suburbs, and boom, sniper. And it was great. The sniper level in The Last of Us was so much fun.
Yeah. Now, it's funny because once Joel gets up there and he takes the window, then the rest of the soldiers start to come.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought,
he was a lookout for Kathleen.
Yeah, and initially my brain was thinking, oh, we're not going to have to shoot down clickers to get past. We're going to have to shoot them down. Okay, cool.
Nope.
But, you know, first.
Even in this scenario, I'm like, okay, so Joel stealthily took down this sniper, which was very quicker than I can do it in the game. And then you're right. I'm like, okay, is he just going to snipe out the Kathleen? But Kathleen's people have guns. All of them had guns. They're just going to cover. They start shooting at Joel, and then they just kill Henry and Sam. Like, there's no way out of this. Like, I was like, there has to be something that's about to happen. But
it's funny because like we have the confrontation going, and initially, my brain at first, my naive brain that gets tricked by every screenwriter is like, oh hey, how do we get us? But Something clicked, not because I'm smart, but because I watch trailers. I was like, hey, it's a fiery setting. I don't see any other way out of this. And I know a bloater is supposed to come this episode. I think the bloater's coming out. And lo and behold, the truck gets swallowed by the earth.
That was crazy.
No, what's crazy is I was like, okay, cool. Here comes the bloater. Here it comes. And they're building up. They're closing on the shot.
Boom!
It's fucking Stampede. Mufasa, get out the way.
This is World War Z shit. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
Evan, like hundreds. At this point, it had to have been hundreds.
Because
they cut back like by the end of the scene, and they're still piling out. They're still coming out of the ground.
That was jaw dropping. My jaw dropped. I was like, oh shit. Like, because people talk about different kinds of zombies in media, Walking Dead, Last of Us, World War Z. This is straight up World War Z, where it's like just piles zooming, running right at you, and they all had automatic weapons, and they still stood no chance against that horde.
I was honestly shocked that a lot of them were still standing at a certain point. I was like, "Oh, what you haven't gotten yet?"
Yeah. And then then we get your big boy. We get the bloater. And he comes up while Perry and Kathleen are talking, or they're trying to survive. Perry's like, "You go on ahead, hide. I got this," and he doesn't. He doesn't get it. The bloater is impenetrable to bullets and just tears right through Perry. Straight up same execution from the game, even extended, because in the game, if the bloater gets to you, he rips off Joel's head, but he pulls it apart. This one, he pulls it apart and just decapitates Perry. It was brutal. It was crazy,
wild.
And this is like the biggest action set piece that we've seen in the show thus far. Like, it was gnarly. Joel is sniping down from above. Ellie is on the ground crawling. This is like some Game of Thrones shit. It was insane. And the way like Bella is like going through these crazy stunts, it was breathtaking to watch. My heart was beating the entire time. As she's zigging and zagging, she sees the car, she hides in it. We see the little girl clicker get inside the car. I'm losing my mind because that claustrophobic area, that sense of fear, and it was crazy. And then she sees Sam and Henry under the car saying, "Get away from us, get away from us." And at this point, I just knew, this is where Sam gets bit. Did you know that was where he gets bit too?
When he's under the car, for sure. But, something in my brain, the optimistic hope is just hoping like, hey, maybe they
switch it.
Maybe not. Maybe they switch it. Maybe, because I'm just like, they made this kid even younger than the game was. And I just, I don't want to hurt this bad.
Not at all.
But as soon as we do get to the motel.
Oh, real quick, Kathleen's death was amazing.
Good old comeuppance.
Good old comeuppance. And again, for a character that I was like, oh, this is a very morally interesting character. She did.
Children die every day.
Yeah, children die every day. It's like, what? No, maybe it's his fate that he was supposed to die. It's like,
all right, Kevin Costner.
I was like, what are you talking about? Like, this was her conscience, kind of like trying to come up with excuses to why she can kill Henry and Sam. Like, this is why, like, trying to make sense of what happened to her brother in a sense.
Yeah, because ultimately it was just Henry did the wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Henry's like, all right, right, in her eyes. So he comes out and it's like, okay, fine, you can have me, but let the kids go. And she's like, nah. It's like, all right, well, it's over. No redemption. You're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
You're done. And the kid clicker gets killed by a kid clicker, which is so poetic and brutal. Bye, Melanie Linsky. But yeah, we get to the motel, and all's well that ends well, right, Nathan?
I would think, however, if you have good context clues, if you watch earlier, Ellie and Sam are reading comic books, and they're cracking up. They're having a good time.
Ellie's Starlight, Endure and Survive.
Ellie's reading more to him here. He's silent.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And I'm sitting here and I'm just like,
fuck.
He's just been scared by the events and tired. Don't be hurt.
You're right, because in the beginning when she's telling jokes with him, he's like laughing, he's like scribbling, saying like, "Oh, endure and survive, like so fun. This is awesome." They're being kids, and this time around, he's just like.
And the littlest bit I'm hoping, because like Henry's like, "All right, get some shut eye," and he closes the door, and he goes to like lay on his bed. Ellie like smacks him on the leg because that's where he was bit in the game, and I was like, "All right, he writhe in pain. Maybe I felt like his legs were the only weak spot under the car. Maybe okay. And they're communicating back and forth like, hey, are you scared of anything? Are you even scared? She's like, yeah, scorpions, which is from the game. And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
That's from the game too? I didn't realize that.
It is, but then because he wants her to be serious, and then Ellie says, well, okay, I'm afraid of ending up alone.
Whoa.
And hey, if you play Last of Us Part 2 and you get to the end of that game, it's not looking great, Bob.
It's not looking great, Bob. And yeah, it's a very genuine fear. Nobody ever wants to be alone. And it not only for STARDUST Part 2, but Part 1, her plight 2, as we keep teasing for next week, the whole big argument scene between Joel and Ellie, it stems from that fear. She doesn't want to be alone. And if Joel leaves her, she'll be alone again. So that's her big fear. And I'm glad they teased it here in episode 5. But then he asks her another question. He says, are monsters still human when they turn, or whatever, something along those lines?
Are you still in there?
Yeah, are they still in there? And she's like,
and it's at that point I'm like, all right, the fate is sealed. I'm gonna lose it. And I don't know how things are gonna proceed. I don't know if he was gonna go to bed silently, but he lets her know right away, which wasn't in the game.
Not in the game. I paused it. I was like, oh no!
I'm sitting here as Ellie. What do? Do you let them know? Do you give them the time? And
I was shocked, Nathan. I didn't know what to do here. I was like, well, this is I don't know what she's gonna do, because there's only one option to go tell Joel. But I was like, that'd be a weird end of the episode. Hey, Joel, this guy's bit. Like, it wouldn't feel right. So I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah, I didn't know but I feel like at least that's probably what you should do, because at the very least Henry could have a little bit more time.
Yeah, I didn't know what was. I was lost when he pulled up his leg. I was like, "Wait, Craig Mason, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me?"
Yeah, it's on his arm, and I'm like, "Oh no!" And Ellie's kind of freaking out too, and so she kind of takes that last moment to just show her bite, and he's thrown off because like, "Wait, what?" And she writes down this great thing. It's just like, "My blood is medicine," and so she's trying. The best thing she can think of, and I think it's so heartfelt and a beautiful moment, is like she makes a cut in herself and smears her blood into his wound, hoping it'll help anything. And I'm sitting here as viewer too of like, maybe, please.
It was so cute, but it was never going to work. I knew this wasn't going to work. And yeah, she cuts her arm, puts it on his leg, and it was so... Yeah, it was so sad because she's like biting her lip, like hoping was going to happen. And I just knew it wasn't going to happen. But this goes into this whole new scene is so beautiful and genius, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, because it's her accepting what's inside of her, and accepting the power that she possibly holds, the power that she possibly holds over others, not even herself, why she's so important, why this cure could be so important for not only others throughout society, like Sam and other people that are sick, but for herself too, to give meaning to her life, to give meaning to like Tess's death, to give meaning to people that might sacrifice their lives for her. It places this burden that she carries and guilt that she carries. It just gives it so much more weight through this scene. I think the scene ultimately encapsulates like the big thing. We're gonna go into spoilers for the second game, because like whether like she sees how it showcases the desperation, how she's trying to save this innocent kid who got infected, and hearing the words back, it's like, maybe Sam was supposed to die of this cause. Echoes very much like Ellie by the end of this season, like maybe she's supposed to die to help save humanity, because ultimately that is the biggest grudge she holds against Joel and drives them apart for a time, is the fact that Oh no, Nathan froze. He froze. But yeah, I think as he was about to say, like Joel took that power away from Ellie. He took like her burden, her responsibility away from her. Her reason for living was taken away. Oh, you're back. You're back. You're back.
Okay, yes, this basically yes, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And that's ultimately what ends up driving them apart.
Because like, what does she live for, right? Like, and it also goes into, it foreshadows like the events of just the finale of season 1 or the game
Yes.
1, where it's like, was it all for naught? Like, was this whole journey? Was it all for naught?
And ultimately, that is what Joel tells Ellie. Like, it was nothing. But they're going back to Jackson.
Yeah.
And it's not for nothing because.
Exactly. Like for Joel, it wasn't for nothing because I gained a daughter. I gained
I gained my humanity back.
I gained my humanity again. And that's definitely a selfish act by himself because he's not taking into consideration what she's going through. But she also gained a father. So it's not completely for naught because she gained an emotional connection.
She gained her entire life ahead of her.
But what she lost was what she believed to be her reason for living, her reason, the purpose, the reason people died for her, like a Tess or others. So it's like, oh man, what do I have to live for? Like, what my purpose is gone, basically. That's of course what her plight in part 2 is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this was so powerful. It's such a genius way of like seeding that notion of burden, that notion of responsibility and purpose in Ellie's character in episode 5. Yeah, I just loved it so much. But yeah, and eventually it does not work, and we get shot from shot the same scene when he wakes up. It was just, it's heartbreaking.
Evan, the 0.01% of hope I had left was watching, and I'm like, he didn't respond. He can't hear. He's fine. We're gonna turn that corner. They're gonna surprise the audience. He's okay. Hey, maybe we're all right. But obviously, with the world of Last of Us, it can't be that way. Otherwise, Ellie would just be like dripping IVs all the live long day.
Hey guys,
the cure. That is the cure. We don't have to make anything. We're fine. There's no need for death.
Just suck on my arm.
But in that moment, I'm not thinking about all that. I'm just like, please, God. But
no. He lashes out at Ellie. Ellie crashes through the door, and Joel immediately goes into like life preservation mode and tries to fumble for his gun.
Henry grabs it,
mm-hmm.
and Joel just, all right, fine, but I'm gonna go and help Ellie, and he shoots at the floor. Don't go near him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck it, it hurts. But then ultimately, Henry makes the choice to shoot Sam.
Yeah,
and was that in the game?
Yeah.
Okay. Because for some reason I don't remember it going down. It did go down that way.
So in the game, Henry shoots Sam, and he says like, "What did you do?" He's talking to Joe like, "What did you do? What did you do? Oh my God, that's my little brother!" And then he points it at him, and then boom, and we get it from Joel's perspective. Joel's like, wow." In this one, he doesn't say like, "What did you do?" He says like, "That was my brother." I forget what the word.
He might have said, "What did I do?"
Well, I think he said, "What did I do this time?" What did I do? Which was in this time, instead of pointing it at Joel, he points it at himself.
For some reason, I recently rewatched the scene in the game, but for some reason, I had a memory that he couldn't bring himself to shoot Sam, so he lets Sam attack him, and they both go out.
That'd have been brutal.
It's all sad.
It's sad either way, but yeah.
But this was an important thing that I was bringing up prior from episode 4. We linger in episode 4 when Ellie takes that shot and she witnesses that horrific moment. We stay on her face and we see that moment affect her and be what's ultimately going to mold her moving forward. Mm-hmm. Same thing happens here when Henry shoots himself in the head. We don't like cut away to anybody else but Ellie, and we watch, like, it cuts to her as the sound happens, and we witness her reaction to that moment as well.
No! Yeah. And then the blood's all over her face. She's like,
it would just linger.
You can see the life just fade from her eyes. It's so sad.
And then we get to the next morning, or it is the next morning. It's the day.
Same day, yeah.
And they're burying them. And ultimately, it kind of like swaps, right?
Yeah.
Ellie has always been like the more inquisitive person, and
You're
Joel
saying
being
swapped in terms of the roles, right?
yes,
Mhm.
like Joel being the closed off one, where Ellie like is inquisitive. Here, Joel and Ellie being like very like emotional as a kid can be. Joel's exuding a lot of sympathy and emotion, standing over their graves, but Ellie is keeping quiet and wants to move on and get going. She
She
wants to leave
says,
it behind, doesn't want to talk about it.
and what does she leave behind? She leaves, "I'm sorry." Like
Oh,
she's like we just talked about in our last segment. Like she believes she failed. And she's placing this burden on herself. Like what I did didn't work. I said I'll protect him, or I'll be with him or whatever, and it didn't work. And he still turned, and now they're both dead.
mhm.
So she believes she's placing a lot of burden on herself, and that's why she wants to move as far away from this as possible. Just like Tess, this is her two other people in her life that came and went just like that, and she was powerless to do anything to stop it. And Joel, on the other hand, isn't feeling so much as guilt, but just like a reflection. He sees himself, and could this be what happens between me and Ellie? Is this what we're fated to happen? Like two graves in the ground? Is this what's fated between me and Ellie? Could this be what happens if I get close? If I get too close with her, are we both fated to die? Are we both fated to lose our lives in this pursuit of whatever? Because he still doesn't believe in the cure.
Mhm.
So it's like, are we both fated to die here? And this seeds Joel's dilemma in the next episode, as we've been talking about endlessly. Joel wants to kind of like move her away, and this kind of seeds it a little bit because he's like, if I get too close, I don't know what's going to happen. We're either going to be fated to die like Henry and Sam, or I'm fated to connect with somebody in a level that I haven't connected with since Sarah, and I don't want to go through that pain again. So either way, it's bad for him, and he doesn't want to go through that again. So that's why he's staring at that grave, being like in shock and in sadness, and he's just like pondering like what's next for me and Ellie. And that's when we cut the end of the episode where she's walking ahead of him. It was a beautiful episode, fantastic episode all the way around. Their bond has strengthened through
Evan,
violence, through sadness. It's been a lot.
Evan, the first trailer of this show, the first shot of that trailer
Is
is
that
Joel standing over the grave. The gall that they had.
yeah? They showed a lot in the first trailer, as we always say about TV
Little bit
trailers.
out of context shot.
Yeah,
It makes me think of the trailer for Infinity War where like Tony's sitting with the dust on his hands on Titan, and we're just like, oh man,
a great shot.
we're gonna go through a lot, yeah, but
No.
not knowing we just lost.
We just
everyone.
lost Spider-Man. Yeah,
That Spider-Man's on his hand.
yeah. He's like sniffing Spider-Man's ashes. No, I'm kidding. Peter. No. That's too much. But yeah, this was fantastic. I think this and episode 3 are easily my favorite episodes of the season. And the show is just batting 1,000. I haven't not loved a single episode.
I think everything has gotten increasingly heartbreaking.
Yeah, heartbreak feels
all
good.
these episodes. It doesn't though. There's too much heartbreak in my teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is great.
Would you say this one hit? Which episode do you think hit the hardest for you?
Well, they didn't play on the nature of daylight. I cried buckets in episode 3. I didn't cry buckets here, but I did tear up here.
I did cry. I think the most during 3.
Yeah,
because they kept hitting me, man.
When he hit me with a montage with music, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. This one was just like it was a gut punch, and I cried a little bit too, because I was trying to watch the grave scene. I'm just like rubbing my eyes still as they're digging in the graves. It was bad.
I think as things are going, I think probably episode 3 hit the hardest, but I think this episode was the most tragic.
And overall, I think episode 5 was a complete package from insane action, insane emotional heights, character depth,
storytelling parallels.
Yeah, towards the end of the season to beyond the end of the season, it was just great. It was a great turning point for Joel and Ellie as we reach our halfway point through the season.
Yeah, we got 4 more.
6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, great. March 12th is the finale. Yeah, so yeah.
Jesus Christ, Joel.
But while Joel and Ellie are slowly becoming family, I think we should watch another family trailer here, Nathan.
Yeah, so
you like that segue? Is that good?
Good one. Good
Thank
one.
you.
Now I have it here.
Great.
I did a different method. I'm not going to screen share. I uploaded the trailer into StreamYard.
Whoa, we can do that now?
We can. It's not as like we can't like 0.25 speed or anything, but
That's
I
fine.
can play it so that
Can you play and pause it or?
yes, I can, and I can control the volume. So
Sweet. Awesome.
the benefit primarily of doing it this way is so in case either of us glitch out, it's still playing within the system, so it shouldn't be a problem for the viewership.
Awesome. I love that.
All right, so
It only took us what? 87. What episode are we on? 88?
listen, we had a Carson.
We did. We had that great Kansas City connection.
Let's go.
It has been very hard.
Here we
And
go.
yet
Yeah.
Here you are, building this magnificent.
Rita Moreno, right?
What's going on in that head of
I
yours?
think.
Something little piece of it. He
Yeah.
said, Dad,
She must be his mom.
they're not afraid of anything.
So we time jump from 9.
Oh yeah, pause it real quick. Yeah. So
Afraid of losing someone.
no, why are we pausing here? The weird Vin Diesel head. No. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah. This shot right there. It's like, what's going on here? Is it still playing? Oh, you got it.
No, I'm just clicking through trying to
Okay.
get to little Brian.
Yeah, we tried. We timed. I was shocked. I'm like, oh wait, this like 7 years later. Are they in 2027?
Yeah, with the MCU timeline.
Are we in the MCU timeline?
Also, I'm finding it funny because I'm looking at this kid and I'm like, this kid is definitely a darker
black.
complexion.
Gotcha.
He's a darker complexion. I'm like, all right, Vin isn't that dark. Neither is the biological mother.
You're right.
Did they forget Letty isn't his biological mom? Vin, what are you doing?
You're so right. I'm watching this. I'm like, there's no way you're gonna tell me he is the son of Vin and the Brazilian lady that we still don't know the name of.
I mean, anything can happen, I guess.
Come on.
I guess
you know whose kid this is? The Rock and her. That's whose kid this is.
Maybe young F9 Vin.
Oh man.
I guess it depends on how much sun you get. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, this is great.
So anyway, is he getting kidnapped? Like, which was the plot of Fate of the Furious?
Later in the trailer, don't we see them getting taken or something? I don't know.
I think we're good. Let's watch it. Let's keep.
Let's
going.
watch it. Yeah. So yeah, all about family.
Nick Toretto, you're about to learn all about fear.
I think Momoa is perfect for this.
Such a beautiful
I agree.
life, filled with love and family.
Filled with love and family.
I never got that chance.
Okay, this is weird. Wait,
I got
it's glitching
scared
out
at
for me
first.
a
I
little
was
bit.
like, all right, I paused it.
Oh, okay.
I was worried a little bit because I was like, oh no, is Brian back? Is he in?
So yeah, let's go here. Let's pause and this is weird. Like you stole my family from me, but his reason for revenge is awful.
Well, okay, let's watch this part to get
Okay, let's watch
understanding
this. This is from Fast 5, safe.
here. Right.
My family. And now, I'm gonna break yours.
Okay.
I think
So-
I didn't get. I missed the. It glitched out when they did the water scene.
Oh, damn, this
When
isn't
it
working.
hit the
as well,
water.
like-
It's fine. But yeah. Wow. So apparently he's a son of
right, of the
the-
from the Fast Five,
yes, he's a son of the villain from Fast.
or at least some
5.
family connection.
Mm-hmm. I believe his son. I think a Variety article confirmed that he's the son or something. But like, it was so weird. Like, so they're saying he was there in Fast 5 when they pulled the safe out. He was
I'm cool with
there
that.
on
I
the
like-
highway.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I like putting in stuff because at this point we wouldn't know about background people. It's not the main focus. If you want to put them in, by all means.
But it's just so funny. We're on Fast 10, and we're going
Yes.
all the way back
I
to
moved-
Fast 5 over a decade ago.
6 movies if you count Hobbs and Shaw.
Exactly. Which this
Oh, was Fast 5 2011? It was, huh?
2011. Yeah, over a decade ago now.
It's 12 years ago. Wow.
Jesus Christ.
I'm ready to rewatch these movies too.
Watch our commentaries
Please watch our commentaries.
because they were a blast. Movies. That was a period. So yeah,
That was a wild time.
so is he mad because Dom killed his dad and stole money
Presumably.
from him? Is that it?
I mean, what more do you need?
I guess nothing. You killed my family, I'll take yours, basically, right? I think that's it.
Family probably took my fortune. I had to build up.
He looks rich now.
I could see why it would take 12 years plus whatever the time jump between 9 and 10 is.
Mm-hmm.
It took me 20 years.
But in terms of villains, I'll just say this right now: the bar is so low for memorable villains. Like we had Statham. Statham's probably my favorite villain. Statham and
Well, he's our ally now.
either ally now. We got Luke. Luke Hobbs. Is that his name?
No, that's The Rock.
The actor's name is like Luke.
Luke Evans.
Luke Evans. There we go. Luke
Yeah,
Evans. It was a great villain.
who became an ally briefly in Fate of the Furious.
Oh my God! Yes, he was on the plane. Jeez, I forgot about that.
Isn't
Yeah.
he supposed to come back in something? I thought so.
I wanted him to, but
I can see him
maybe
coming back in this one.
if there was a Hobbs and Shaw 2, I think he would have been a great character. But him,
Shaw and Shaw.
Shaw and Shaw, Hobbs, Shaw and Shaw, Hobbs, Shaw squared.
Shaws.
That's a lot of Shaws.
Jaws, but Shaws.
Yeah. But yeah, let's continue watching this 5-minute trailer.
Yeah, my God, 4 minutes.
Peace.
Brazil.
Oh, they're in Rome right there, isn't that? Is that like Rome?
He's coming for you with
I think so.
everything.
That's Brie Larson.
Plan, Dom.
I'm not sure.
We get John Cena on our side again.
It is.
Did you pause it?
I guess so. I did because the video got ahead of the audio for me.
Oh, yeah, it's been glitching out a bit. But so yeah, I think Brie Larson is going to be like a sister to. People are theorizing she's like a sister to Paul, or like she's on Paul's side of the family.
That would be cool.
That'd be interesting.
He's coming for you with everything.
Plan.
Back for this. But we have to fight.
Damn.
Never accept death.
Never accept death. A wrecking ball in the middle of a city? Wow.
Let's go.
That looks lit.
It's a setup.
He's trying to tear us apart.
You got his hair back. Are we getting more car races in this one? That's awesome.
Raced
Oh,
for
I forgot it.
respect. Today, I raced to stop a bloodbath.
I love that.
The problem with having such
It's so
a big
goofy.
family. How do you choose the ones
He
you
looks so
save?
big in that small ass place.
Yeah.
Let's race!
Let's go. I don't know what they're racing for, but
No idea.
You know how to drive?
What do
Statham.
you think?
this is the movie I'm here
go.
for.
That's the movie I'm here for. That's your next
He
spin-off.
recognizes game.
That was great.
I'm coming for you, son.
Let's do it.
This is insane, Evan.
That's so stupid.
You will never be able to break my family.
I don't know how. I'm here for it though.
Literally pulls two helicopters together.
The morning
Okay.
You gotta be kidding me.
That's so weird. What's happening here? Are they test subjects? What the hell? That's pretty much it, right?
I thought I was like watching. I was watching Face Off for a second or something. They're gonna like swap brains or something.
They're gonna switch. Yeah, they're gonna switch bodies. That'd be awesome. There's like a body hopping movie in between all this chaos.
Not with her, man, dude. Okay, so all right,
yeah,
I'll
talk to me.
Okay, I don't. I love Charlize Theron.
She's great.
I hate Cypher so goddamn much, dude.
She's bad. My friend keeps trying.
Bad.
My friend treated me like best villain ever. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. My friend is drunk, but yeah.
I mean, I'm here for Momoa for sure, and I think he's gonna be the primary thing. Because even like in the last movie, Charlize is kind of a backseat. I don't know what her like. I don't know why we keep making her the like through line villain.
We don't even know what she wants. Who is
I don't.
she?
I don't. What was it for F8? I mean, initially she wanted world power like nuclear codes, right?
She wanted those nuclear codes in F8.
And I guess we screwed her over, so it's like, oh well, you fucked me over, fuck you over. You know, like you came at us first. God damn it!
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone else, every other villain, I'm compelled because we screwed them over first in some way. Like when we were going against Statham, it's because we fucked up Luke Evans first.
Yeah.
That's cool. That same thing for Momoa here. We fucked over someone's family. It's family versus family. That being a theme is great. Charlize is just kind of a nuisance in the background.
Yeah, like this started happening with the I think F8 because I think all the other ones like going back to F5 when the reboot kind of really happened. It was just a heist. We had to do a big heist and we screwed over this Brazilian guy who deserved it, who turned out to be the father of Momoa's character. But anyways, F6. It was just Luke Evans and them doing their random heists and jobs, and we got called upon to stop them. And it was kind of personal because they had Letty. They didn't betray us or anything. It was just us trying to stop them from doing bad shit. And then F7, again, it's us stopping. Who was the bad guy? I guess was it
Statham?
It was Statham. It was Statham because we did something, we didn't do anything.
I thought he would have died. No, he didn't die because he's in the opening. That's like Statham beat up a whole hospital to see Luke Evans. We critically injured Luke Evans.
Yes, that's what happened. Yeah.
And so he went for revenge from killing Han that we thought.
Exactly. And then in F8 again, it's more so she comes in now controlling Dom. We're like, okay, this is weird. Because she wants this EMP device thing. It was like, okay. That's why F8 is so weak because we're like, this villain just is using Dom and there's no big emotional pull here.
It's odd, but I like the premise of like turning Dom against the family because they're blackmailing him with his own son.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And then F9, we got Cena, who was kind of betrayed by Dom again in the past.
It was this white dude with the whole Star Wars conversation that we really
I forgot about him. Yeah, he was
cringe
bad.
into oblivion when we watched.
I'm Master Kenobi. I'm Yoda. Yeah,
I'm Yoda. Oh, you're a puppet with a hand over his eye. I fucking hate this shit.
Cypher she offered nothing to that movie. It was so weird.
It's so funny. The only points I have been feeling just not about in the Furious franchise have been because of Cypher.
Cypher, once she came in, like the movies have gotten not great.
Which is weird because Charlize is great.
She's amazing. Mad Max Fury Road, everybody. But yeah, Charlize is incredible.
I think she'll have a problem. I think she's going to be great as Clea in the MCU. So I think she has a good road ahead that way. I would say the one positive I think we have for Cypher is she has a not terrible haircut in this one.
Yeah. Was F8 the braid? That was like the last
F8 was the dreads.
The dreads.
9 was the bowl cut.
Why? Finally, this one, she's like, okay, finally, just cut her hair. Just cut it.
Yeah.
Wait, make it shorter.
It's plain messy, whatever. Cool.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't know what her plan. I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah, what's this whole science thing? I'm so nervous about the third act of this movie because the director even said like he had like a week to rewrite the third act or something like that. There's like an article where he said he came in late. Of course, there was a whole director drama where he came in late. He had to rewrite the third act. It was a mess. So hopefully the movie ends up being, just fun. I think F9 was better than F8 in my opinion.
I do too.
But F9 was still just fine, but it was chaotic fun. None of these movies are bad. It's just like how much chaos we're getting into this time.
I mean, I feel like so we went to space, and I was just having a laugh with it. I'm here for the chaos of the absurdity. So when we come to this one, I'm looking at the different stuff. I mean, like, yeah, Dom pulled down 2 helicopters with the sheer weight of his Charger. That's not possible. However, you got to remember 3 or 4 cars took down a whole aircraft carrier in Fast 5 or 6. So that's fine. We've been here. That's not hell. The last one, he Spider-Man stole his car off of a rope from a broken bridge. That's crazy. That's way more cartoony than anything I'm seeing in this movie.
Yeah, I'll never forget F7 when he punches like the rock or the earth hits back and he stomps the ground and the crash.
It's always win.
Yeah, like, this is awful.
I mean, last film he also like Superman Hulk strength pulled down the complex.
That was weird. But to be fair, in this one, I tweeted about it. But I was like, this one doesn't seem as crazy. There's no like going to space. There's no mechanical jets that like fly off. There's no big like chain. I'm gonna go around this island shot. Like this one, it was just like, oh, he dropped from like 50 meters in the air and crashed on the highway. Like, that's not believable, but it kind of makes sense. And then
they got explosives and fast cars.
And they had a big roll. The big set piece in this trailer was like the rolling ball bomb going through, which was crazy, but like not super crazy.
Familiar. I mean, it feels akin to like the Vault from
the Vault. Exactly. That's what I'm about to say. Yeah.
Or we whole like Wrecking Ball booby trap thing in the opening of 8. So
yeah. So I was like, okay. So maybe this trailer is like they don't have to go bigger than space. They can just do some crazy Earthbound stunts again, and we'll be satisfied. But overall, Han working with Statham, we talked about.
That's my favorite part.
Mine too, because we talked about at the end of 9. Was it 9 or 8? It had to be 9. Yeah.
The post-credit scene of 9.
Yes.
Han is confronting Statham. I don't remember if his hair was longer or not at the end of 9. I don't think it was. Because that's why I'm like so hyped now, because I'm like, his hair's back. I think he looks better with long hair. But I noticed in a couple shots in this trailer, Statham has the same clothes on from that end credits.
Oh, weird.
So, whatever, they can do what they want.
Retcon, whatever. We don't give a fuck.
It was 2 seconds, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm so on board for this. They want to keep trying to erase Hobbs Shaw from people's memories because of the Rock thing. So maybe the spinoff could be like Shaw and Han. That'd be really fun.
I would be so down.
I'll be so down for that. But yeah, Shaw and Han. What I'm worried about from the trailer, though, from the onset from the trailer, there's a lot going on. We have Shaw and Han. We have what's her name? Letty. Yeah, thank you. Letty and Cypher doing whatever science weird stuff. We have Momoa versus the crew, which seems to be the A plot.
And he's kidnapped Brian.
Kidnapped Brian again. I'm like, this kid always gets kidnapped. I mean, granted, it happened just in 8, now 10. I don't think it's kidnapped in 9. Also,
Han's hair is short. Anyway.
They're gonna do the thing where Cena is so strong in 9, but then now in 10, because he's part of the good guys, his strength has decreased. He's not as strong as he was in the last movie. It happens in TV shows all the time.
I think he will be used as primary muscle. He just probably won't be in the most favorable scenarios. Yeah.
Because in the other one, he was kind of toe to toe with Dom, but he just had the heads up because Cypher was helping him out on everything. If he was by himself, but either way, he was pretty smart at times in 9. But yeah, we'll see how Cena does in this movie. He was cool in the last one.
Yeah, it's funny. Going in, I really didn't know what role Rojas was going to have. I think anytime I hear of a new character joining in, I automatically assume they're in a villainous role because we have such an established big good guy family already. I never expect more to join.
Yeah.
But I'm pleasantly surprised that she's an ally here.
Yeah, hopefully she gets a lot to do. Like, hopefully, because we see her just like in a couple of shots. I'm like, hopefully she gets a good action scene too, not just be like, hey, I'm related to so and so, the newborn Brian's family.
Yeah. I think we've run out of, other than what seems to be either Dom's mom or grandmother, probably his mom.
I think his mom.
Yeah, I think we're officially out of Toretto's.
Yeah, I think
unveil.
She's blonde, just like Brian. So it's like, okay, they could do the whole relation scenario. Lastly,
The Brazilian girl's sister. Can you imagine?
Oh gosh, please don't.
I never disliked her.
I'm your sister-in-law.
I never disliked her.
I did. She was useless.
You just straight up disliked?
I didn't dislike her. I was indifferent.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't like super like impactful. She wasn't, I'd say.
And to have an indifferent character be so instrumental in having Dom's kid, like that's the heart of the movie and 8. I'm like, come on.
So that's why they did it, to drive her home.
That would make 8 so like. Does she die? Does she die in 8?
She doesn't. She gets killed.
You kill off a mother character. It's icky to me too. I'm just like,
It's odd. I don't know, because also she's in arguably all of the best Fast and Furious movies.
5 and 6. Yeah.
7. I like it.
7. I just don't really like 8. 8's one of the weaker ones for me. But 5, 6, and 7.
It is weaker, but I still had fun.
I think 5, 6, and 7 are peak. 3 is great, of course. 3, 5, 6, 7.
Obviously, like when you have everything more well-rounded, like stuff in 5 and 6, then it's like the top of the charts for me. But I think I ultimately rank these films based on the camaraderie of the Fast family and the good time of how they navigate these situations. So as long as I just have a good time with everybody, which I know I will, it's gonna be good.
I agree. Lastly, we also got to see, maybe I think we saw the trilogy, but I think we saw the girl from Suicide Squad, Daniela.
Right, she plays
Ratcatcher in Suicide Squad. She's also in this movie, I think. The person that we see doing those like cool bike things in Rome, like going over everything. I think that might be. I think she's a good character. So we'll see.
I was gonna guess maybe she just has ties with Momoa.
Well, maybe she does. I'm not sure.
The other half of that family.
But we shall see. But in general, solid 4-minute trailer, nearly 4-minute trailer that I still am like, what's happening in this movie? I can't tell you.
See, that's the crazy thing is like I'm used to this trailer now, right? This 4-minute trailer. I'm not prepared to see the chopped down movie theater version when I go to see like Ant-Man or something.
Oh yeah, because definitely not going to be 4 minutes.
It's gonna be a bridge as hell. We'll get like 2:30 max.
But we gotta get the awesome Momoa shot. He's like, yeah, and then 5 people have guns behind him. It's really
His arms out like the Brazilian statue.
Yeah.
Are we going back to Brazil?
I think going to Brazil, Rome, we're globe-trotting, baby.
Let's go. I still have zero idea what the race is about in the trailer, but that's fine because I don't need to know everything.
Yeah, I mean, again, like nearly 4 minutes, all we know is like, hey, Jason Momoa is pissed off because what happened in Fast 5. He's trying to go after Dom's family. Dom's not having it. Cypher's in this somehow. New characters are in this somehow.
It is funny when I see like replies to how long the trailer is. Like, I feel like I've seen the whole movie. Can you tell me what it's about? I can't.
Like sometimes I feel like I've seen the whole movie. Like that Ant-Man and the Wasp, that Ant-Man Quantumania second trailer. I'm like, oh, it kind of gave me a lot in terms of like his emotional arc in the movie.
Sure.
Like,
I was thinking that. Like, okay. I was thinking that, but now they keep dropping pseudo TV spots. Yeah, we all think.
Yeah, and given the reaction from Ant-Man, I'm like, okay, this seems a lot more sci-fi heavy than I've been thinking. But in general, yeah, Fast 5 comes out. Was that Memorial Day weekend, the 24th, or I guess the week before Memorial Day weekend?
Heading in there. Yeah.
Is this the week before Indiana Jones? Am I wrong? Or Indiana Jones is in June now?
First, second.
So is this Memorial Day? I'll look it up later. But lastly, to close out the episode, we have 3 new Disney movies from this past week when Twitter got shut down, basically. All these things got announced. We have Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, and Zootopia 2. Also, real quick, Fast 10 comes out May 19th. The week after that, Memorial Day weekend, is Little Mermaid. Jesus Christ.
Stacked.
And then after that is Spider-Verse. Love it. So, yeah. I think out of these, I'm most excited for Zootopia 2, then Frozen 3, and then Toy Story 5. Do you concur?
No, because I haven't seen Zootopia.
Oh, yeah, you told me this off air. I remember. Yes.
I told you I had not seen Zootopia, but I was spoiled who the villain was.
Which is such a weird thing for someone to spoil.
Right, I think it was talking about... I was watching some video essay that was discussing it had something to do with plot reviews.
You said to watch a movie about plot reviews.
No. It was about about like writing. Can you not hum while I'm explaining myself? I don't speak well. You knew this. You knew Carson and you were the best I had. We're down to man. I am dragging the podcast down. We'll be lucky if we make it to 100. Listen,
we will make it to 100. Yeah, continue.
Hey, it's about the environment.
Okay. Yeah.
So I haven't seen it. Do you feel like they set up any specific plot to go into Zootopia?
No. But that's what makes it so exciting. So Zootopia, of course, is a movie about cops and robbers. No, I'm kidding. I know
Hobbs and robbers.
Hobbs, yeah. Judy Hobbs wants to be a cop. People are like, I say Josh. One of our close friends, Josh, does not like Zootopia because of the cops of it all. I'm like, are you kidding me? But it's not gonna matter. Like people don't like cops anymore, so it's like, oh, Zootopia is not relevant. Zootopia's a blast. It's still one of the best Disney films of the past decade. Came out in 2015 now, which is crazy, or 2016, I think. It's been a long time. But I love Zootopia. Great world, great detective story, and it's not begging for a sequel, but another detective story with Judy Hopps and Jason Bateman's character, Fox character. I'm totally on board with. It gives some meta commentary on like the race relations, like the whole animals and how they interact with one another, and how they treat like the Fox character. Zootopia is so much fun. It's begging for a rewatch. I haven't rewatched it in maybe since it hit theaters. I don't know. I saw it in theaters, and I think I saw bits and pieces of it on TV. But I don't think I've watched it from beginning to end since theaters. But Zootopia, it could be. I think we really need to. Zootopia is one of those movies where I'm like, I always have fond memories because Jalen and I, my brother, we watched it and we're like, wow, it blew us away with the adult references, great writing, great reveal. It was very fun. Animation, I saw it in theaters. Animation was just incredible as always. I just had a blast with Zootopia.
And I was 7 years old.
Yeah, it blew my expectations because I'm like, the trailers work great for Zootopia. I'm like, you get the DMV scene with the sloth. I'm like, okay, yeah, we've seen so many times. But it was a lot more fun than I was expecting. I just loved it. Their chemistry was great. The voice acting was great. So that's what I'm most excited for. There's another detective story. Frozen 3 I'm also looking forward to because again, it's not begging for a sequel, but you watch Frozen. Have you seen Frozen 2?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Frozen franchise, even Olaf's Frozen Adventure, because I don't understand the hate.
Never seen it.
Everyone just be so pissed that like it played in front of Coco.
I forget. I saw Coco in theaters, but I did not see this. So either I got to the theater late intentionally, or I went to the bathroom for a long time. Don't know what happened, Bob.
I didn't see Coco in theaters, so I didn't have that. I just find it funny that like people are getting angry because it's like a 20-minute short, I guess.
It's too long.
Whatever. It's not. It's really not. It's fine.
You come to go see a movie. You don't want to watch a 20. Like we watched like the.
We watched 20 minutes of trailers.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay.
We sign up for trailers. Like we don't sign up for trailers. Then 20 minutes. Like watch 20 minutes of trailers.
come in to see, you know, a kids film. Kids
Yes,
get a little
Coco.
extra. Kids get a little extra kid something. It's fun.
It's fine for the kids. I didn't really care for it.
It's also like not. The short itself is plenty fine. It's funny how, like, if you want to get mad about not expecting to watch that much of something, fine. But the short as a whole, people get angry about just off of their experience. It's not bad.
Okay. We got an Olaf Adventure Defender over here, boys. Like,
It's a fun little like holiday special. It really is.
there's tons of great holiday specials.
If you don't like Olaf, then you're fucked, I guess.
Olaf's fine, but similar to Finding Dory, I'm not watching an Olaf-centric short.
Just haven't seen
You haven't watched a lot of these animated movies. You have some gaps to fill.
that. I know.
Anyways, Frozen 3, though, I'm always excited because the world building of Arendelle is always fascinating. Elsa's arc in Frozen 2 was very good. Same for Anna's arc in Frozen 2.
It's
Very
great.
good.
I'm someone who likes Frozen 2 more than the first one. I really like it. A lot
I
of
think for Frozen 1 still, Frozen 2 gets some good depth, but I think it's a little messier than the first one. It's not as tight as the first one.
I think it has more room to breathe than the first one. I feel like the first one feels very like
Oh,
it's very new, so it has to like establish more. You know, you know, it being a sequel, it breaks that mold. It breaks that away from that chain, so it can have a lot more fun and with the characters already. So we're just building up deeper dynamics, and I think the music's better, honestly, in the second one.
wow.
And I love the music in the first one, but the second one, just there's a lot of fun, different things. I like Into the Unknown more than Let It Go, and
Into the Unknown slaps.
it does.
Show Yourself is underrated too.
Show Yourself is a wonderful, beautiful sequence. I cried at that sequence. Very lovely.
Of course you did.
Lost in the Woods, straight up a Queen ballad, and it's lovely. The 80s are one of them.
I didn't like that one. But,
Well, you're wrong. Anyway,
thank you. Yeah, we gotta rewatch it. Yeah,
But-
again, Frozen 2 is something I saw in theaters and haven't watched again.
but yeah, it's a fun, expansive adventure. That you know, it opens the world more, so that you can do even more within that world. And I feel
Exactly.
you can go anywhere in Frozen 3.
I'm excited. I think. Do we know Anna?
Anna's queen.
She's queen now, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Is she going out with the other guy?
Kristoff?
It's Kristoff.
Yeah, I think that will
Are they together? And two?
Yeah, I think that'll make him king now.
Is he king?
Great guy.
Gosh, I gotta watch two now.
And then Elsa's more like with the.
Did she stay behind at that place in Frozen 2?
I-
Area?
I can't remember if she's staying. If she is, you know, obviously they can all visit. But you know, she's more like out in the.
She's like a goddess now.
Well, no, I think she's just like in tune with the elements, and she's like.
Well, I mean, mythologically speaking, she's
Sure.
like she's a more so out of the political realm and into a more nature
unknown,
realm,
into the unknown,
into the unknown. Yeah, she's
which is
more
now more known.
yeah, she's more in a more nature mythological realm. I talked about this in Willow, where Elora is out of the political realm and into the more goddess mythological realm because of her powers. Because like once you come into your own, you're able to help out others in need and fulfill more of a societal role than a political role. And I think that's what Elsa's role might be. As she, because in 2 she's like struggling with her powers and figuring them out and digging deeper into her inner self. Show Yourself. So I'm excited to see what's beyond there for 3. Who's going to be the antagonist? Who were the bad guys in 2 again? Were they bad guys in 2? Or were they like the guy from This Is Us? What's his name?
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown. Was he one of the bad guys in 2?
No, he's a good guy. He's an ally.
Oh, he was an ally. Oh,
I think it was a.
fuck. Was it nature itself?
No, I think it was one of the earlier things of generational trauma.
Oh.
Where Anna and Elsa's grandfather or
Oh.
great grandfather, like, I think he colonized the wilder people.
I'm starting to remember this.
So it was more so to rekindle the broken relationships between Arendelle and
Other kingdom. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm starting to remember now. We really should commentary Frozen. We should do. We've been talking about doing the Disney / Pixar maybe this summer. But lastly, Toy Story 5, Nathan.
Okay.
Thoughts?
I am looking forward to it.
Same.
This is an interesting franchise because as it comes, we had Toy Story, groundbreaking for its time. Toy Story 2, you think is the best.
I agree. I do.
I may be inclined to agree. It's pretty phenomenal. But also, Toy Story 3 was one of the best, continuations and
Conclusions of the trilogy.
conclusions. Yeah. I remember seeing Toy Story 3 in theaters and sobbing uncontrollably.
I can believe that.
I remember I was crying just when they were in the incinerator, not because they're gonna die. It's more so just you see on their face accepting death. Holy shit. But yeah, the whole saying goodbye, leaving off the storyline with Andy was beautiful. I'll say it's Andy's conclusion more so.
Yes,
It's
1 through 3 are definitely the Andy trilogy, and that's what comes with it. And then 4 is the end for Woody. Was Woody's conclusion.
For sure. And then 5, or not 5, Lightyear. Lightyear came out. I guess one of you thoroughly enjoyed Lightyear quite a bit.
That was fine. It was fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I like the idea of exploring that. I wouldn't mind more Lightyear because they do set up more Zurg and he got the wings.
Set up more Zurg and Lightyear? They killed him.
There's 3 post-credit
Zurg
scenes.
is Lightyear in a sense, but
In the post-credit scene.
post-credit scene?
I think there's 3 post-credit scenes.
3 post-credit scenes in Lightyear.
Well, one's a gag. Another one could have been a gag. But yeah, they said Zurg, the robot Zurg is out there.
Did not know that.
But yeah, as far as Toy Story 4 goes, it concludes anything with Woody and Buzz, and we saw confirmed by Tim Allen himself that he's going to be back as Buzz.
I'm sure people love that. That's not going to be any controversy.
It's funny because I heard this news, and my sister texted me Toy Story 5, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe they'll just do a personal thing with Woody, and they don't have to recast it. They don't have to cast him out. And she was like, Tim Allen announced this, and I was like, well, shit, I don't know. So this is interesting because I don't know, and granted, I never know where they go from here. They tend
I never know.
Pixar, I trust them because they tend to craft a good story and they take their time.
For the most part, yeah.
Pixar,
For every Toy Story trilogy, there's Ratatouille, which is fine. It's cool.
look, Ratatouille's. I like Ratatouille.
A lot of people do. I'm in the minority for sure.
I was gonna say I definitely like it more than you. I don't think it's a big obviously, it's not a franchise thing. It's one of those standalone Pixar things, like Wall-E and such.
I was kidding. But yeah, so I have no idea where they go for Toy Story 5. Wait, does Woody stay behind with the other? What's the one doll's name that Bo Peep? He stays behind with Bo Peep.
Yeah, he has his own life ahead of him. Not really being a toy for a new kid anymore. More so just being
a free toy.
Yeah, a free toy. That's a perfect description.
Wow, Buddy I think Sporky comes with Buzz, right?
Yeah, Sporky, Buzz, and the rest of the crew, Jesse and everybody, they go back with Bonnie.
So does the Bonnie trilogy end?
I guess we do go with more Bonnie, but it's weird because I've never seen Toy Story without Woody, and I've always felt if you were going to have a central character for Toy Story, it would be Woody.
Woody has to come back. Woody has to come back.
How do you bring him back if he's stuck at that fair? Do we revisit it?
What's the next arc for him? What does that need to do?
Well, that's interesting. I guess I could see if they did another road trip where Bonnie's an older kid now, do a big time jump. She's no longer in kindergarten, and it's just another family, road trip going through, and we revisit, and the toys happen to be coming along, or maybe Buzz decides, hey, maybe Buzz takes the Woody role of being protective of Bonnie, or Jessie has now been made sheriff by Woody. Maybe it's her decision. They fall back into the same thing with Woody being protective over their kid, and so they go along to see what's up and make sure everything's okay. They end up back at that fair. Woody's there with Bo Peep still. Oh snap! How have things been? I would love to see that. Even though
they don't
very emotional goodbye.
Yeah, they don't want to retread that same location.
Sure.
But yeah, I just have no idea because at one point there has to be Woody, but Woody arc seems to be ending. But I like the way to say that about Woody's possible like reuniting with them.
Andy buys Woody an antique shirt.
We see older Andy again. Yeah, I'm all out of options. Like Zootopia is wide open for another mystery. Frozen's wide open for another beautiful sister movie. Animal powers, whatever. While Toy Story 5 is just like, I have no idea. I wonder if these are all going to come out the same year, like 2019. Just like they kill that year, 2026 or whatever.
I think Disney gets $10 billion.
That was crazy.
But yeah, I don't know where they go. I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. I know it will deliver.
Yeah, in the end, I'm with you. Like, I'm optimistic because 1, 2, 3, and 4 are very good movies. Like, people like to diss on 4, but 4 is just very well made. I don't like it as much as the other 3, but I think it's really good. Some people like it more than some of the, like 1 or 2 or 3. So,
I like it more than 1.
like it more than 1.
1 is my least favorite, even though it's great.
1 just has a special place in my heart, so it's hard for.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's what you grow up with, but it's also like I think it's the most simplistic out of all of them. I don't think it really has any like emotional heartstring that the rest of them do.
Whoa!
Well, hold on. I'm not saying I don't care about these toys. I mean, obviously it's like, oh, Woody has to get back to Andy, and obviously that's. But it doesn't hit as hard as like Jesse left in a box, or we didn't give him the toys, or Woody and Buzz. What's the big emotional conflict for you in Toy Story?
Well, I wouldn't say because you're comparing emotional heartbreak.
Okay, do you have it?
I don't think there's emotional heartbreak, but I think there's a euphoria that happens at the end of 1 that is so charming. What made 1 so memorable is seeing Woody and Buzz go through so much like danger, peril, and Buzz trying to realize that he's just a toy. And by the end of the movie, it's like that kinship is growing. The kinship, them flying back to Andy is like one of my favorite scenes in all of animation.
Oh,
just
yeah,
them flying, coming in. It's so euphoric, and it's something I would never forget growing up. So I used to watch that scene on loop all the time. So I would say that scene compares to like Woody and Buzz leaving, like them growing together, going up, getting closer together, is comparable to them being split up together.
That's fair.
But yeah, I see what you're saying though. It is simplistic, and Woody's an asshole to the nth degree in 1.
He's not great, but
he tries to kill Buzz multiple times.
Yeah, it's not great, Bob. Well, okay, I don't think he intended to kill him.
Yes, he did. He tried to throw him out the window.
Was he trying to throw him all the way out the window?
I think so.
No, I think that was like. Well, okay. He did, didn't he? But I don't think he was trying to go to like any big
premeditated.
I don't think he was trying to kill him. I think he was just like, get out of it.
Premeditated murder.
His meds premeditated, but I don't think he intended for it to go this far.
Okay.
Or be spotted. But okay, I will say, if Woody does come back, I need them to stop this one thing, because it happens every Toy Story ever.
Oh, where he's like, "Hey, I'm right."
Yes,
like, no
where
way.
like, "Hey, this thing's going wrong, and I'm concerned," and they're like, "Oh, Woody, shut the fuck up! Like everything's fine." And then, lo and behold, turmoil happens, and they're like, "Oh no, Woody was right. We gotta help him." Every time.
But this, I know this happened in 3 for sure. It happened in 4. What happened in 4? Where he's
protective of Bonnie, and like he sees the value of sport being important, because that's the big toy Bonnie cares about, right?
Yes. You're right. People are just saying like, what are you trying to do? Yeah. And then in 2, it's mostly them going after Woody.
2 was a matter of
it's them trying to get into Woody that he shouldn't be there.
Look, the conflict, like Squeaky was being sold in the yard sale. They're like, well, we can't let him go, and they went to go save him. But then Woody gets taken.
Yes.
Woody gets taken at the garage sale. There was a conflict though. I remember 3 was like.
Three was blatant. Woody
3 was blatant. It was just like
Woody was not having it from the beginning.
He
They were
was
like,
get-
"Oh,
he
you're
was-
crazy."
No, 3 was insane because all the toys were like, Andy was gonna throw us away. It's like he was putting you in the attic.
yeah, that killed me. Yeah, that killed me. You're right. I'm like, y'all are crazy. Woody was spitting in 3. They weren't having it.
Woody is a diehard. He really is. After 2,
Really was.
by 2, he's a diehard.
You kind of trust Andy. They're like, oh, crazy.
You have to play with us for years. Why would you?
Because y'all are sucking. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, this was a fun episode. Nearly 2 hours and 15 minutes of animation, family, and depressing family in Last of Us.
Evan,
Nathan.
Spider-Man Noir.
Oh, yeah, Spider-Man Noir. Announced. So, Nathan, my question is,
Where's Silk?
where's Silk?
Where is it?
Amazon, the same studio that greenlit, as of last year, we did a one Mike Up Tea episode where we talked about Silk got a new title, where it's like Silk, Spider-Man series. Like, you got a brand new title. Again, Lord and Miller confirmed to be producing it. It's on Amazon still. That's it. No casting, no nothing. Now they're going to greenlit another Spider-Man Noir, which isn't Peter Parker. It's a totally different character, as we know.
No, I never really stopped to think because Lord and Miller are attached to the Silk series. My brain instantly autofilled animation. But are these shows like the Noir show is live action?
I think they're both live action. Yeah.
Silk is live action. Okay, because I would like that. And
Honestly,
I think it would help Sony's Spider-Man-less universe if they did that.
it's crazy how they're doing Spider-Man Noir and Silk on TV on Amazon when, hey guys, make Silk your movie character. Make Noir your movie character.
Do you think they're reserving deals behind the scenes in like our fool's hope that Andrew will come back?
Nah. Andrew and Toby are never coming back in a big role. They come back in Secret Wars. They'll come back in cameos. They won't come back for
Maybe for Venom 3, just one big conclusion, and then they'll be like, all right, we're done here trying in these movies. Let's go for the TV. But also, Madam Web's coming, so I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot that too. But yeah, it's weird how I don't know why we're getting Silk and Noir as TV series. Granted, TV gives me more time with these characters, and I love that. TV is great.
I would love. I guess like the big main topic is Spider-Man Noir, so I can see them doing like a big old detective mystery.
Definitely.
in the 20s.
It's gonna be weird seeing Spider-Man Noir in a live action setting because in the animation setting, whenever we see this character in animation, it's easy for artists and studios to just feel like, okay, the background's gonna be black and gray, black and white, slash some dark grays in there, and make it a mystery thriller. When you make it a TV series, how is the color grading gonna work there?
Oh boy, Evan, let me put you on to these really cool films called Sin City.
Oh boy,
They
good
go.
call.
They go with the whole graphic novel art style aesthetic in composition, anyhow. And they're primarily in black and white with hints of color here and there.
You think they can do that for prolonged TV episodes?
Unless they actually do something like that, explicitly, they're yeah, we got Rodriguez to executive produce. I don't think so, but I would love if they did something like that. It would visually stand out amongst others in television.
It would, and whenever I'm thinking Spider-Man Noir, just seeing him in a colorful background, which just looks weird. But it worked in Spider-Verse whenever he appeared with the rest of the crew outside of his realm. It looked fine, but again, it's animation, so in live action, seeing a black trench-coated Spider-Man in modern day New York, or not modern day, but probably in the past, that would work.
I mean, do you think it'll be black and white? Because I don't think this is Amazon's first foray into
I can't find a comparable example, if you say so.
I think because then they do Marvelous Miss Maisel.
It is back in the day, but it's a color TV show.
It is. That's what I'm saying. Do you think they'll just stick with the color aesthetic anyway?
Oh yeah. I think they'll stick with color aesthetic set it in the past, in the I don't know what decade Spider-Man Noir is set in.
I want to say
20s, yeah, all Nicolas Cage back. No, he won't come back.
Could be 40s. You know, Nick Cage was saying he likes to fight Nazis. So.
Oh, yeah, it could be 40s as well. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this. Probably gonna come out in 3 or 4 years, but I like what Sony's doing with these Spider-Man characters on television. I wish they'll use these brains to create Spider-Man characters in their movies and not just villains.
Yeah, I agree.
They're never gonna learn.
But Evan, for Silk, just real quick, because it's on the topic. Do you see them doing a Silk? Well, they are. Do we have any form of a Peter Parker in a Silk series?
Peter Parker is integral to Silk as backstory, right?
Because they are bitten up the same spider.
Same spider, except Silk gets kidnapped and locked away for over a decade, or for a very long time, basically. I don't know how long it is.
And I think a big thing is like her mindset and knowledge of things are pretty like stuck in the 90s. I think it was.
Maybe I think 90s. I'm not sure.
She was a later addition to the scene of Marvel Comics.
Definitely, she's like mid 2000s.
I think she's on organic webs too.
She's on organic webs, and she can create clothes using her webbing and shit. It's very cool.
It's like her Phase 1 costume.
Yeah. So, what were you saying? What was your question? Oh, Peter Parker.
Are they gonna have a Peter Parker to have tie-in?
Peter Parker probably could be referenced, but I don't think we'll see it. It's kind of like trying to think about it.
It'll be a fun romantic lead. That's a big thing.
Romantic?
Oh yeah, because they're bitten by the same spider, they are like hormonally connected a lot in the comics in the first few issues. It's weird, but it's a thing.
I mean, I read the Silk series. I don't remember them.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that at all. But I remember the later issues when she's just looking for her family. And that's a big thing about Silk. And what I assume to be season 1 is her looking for her family. She gets out and her family's gone. What happened to her family? Where are they? Where's her brother? That's a very big connection for her. But I forget the whole Peter Parker thing. I remember them swinging around a lot. But I think it's a fleeting thing. It's something that can easily just be disregarded.
You say fleeting, they go all the way multiple times.
What? Silk and Peter Parker relationship. Okay, yeah, I guess you're right. But yeah, because Silk has always seemed like so much younger than Peter. That's why it seems so weird. But yeah, again, we have the irresistible connection. I guess I must have blocked this out. It says original sin. It developed a lot, and I didn't read original sin.
Okay.
I read her main comic run, like the Silk 2015 run, the Silk 2017 run. But I have an original sin. I'm not a huge original sin fan.
I don't think a lot of people are.
Minus like what was that the event that somebody whispered to Thor, and like he lost his like
I think he had lost Sam and Mjolnir was stuck on him.
Yeah. And then we got the awesome Thor run after that from Jason Aaron.
That's the run with her, Stormbreaker.
Yeah, and that was a great run because of what happened in Original Sin, but Original Sin was not great. But maybe that's why I forget the Silk and Peter thing. So I'm like,
did that kick off? Since Thor lost the hammer there, does that what kicked off Mighty Thor for Jake?
I think it did, yeah. It was around that same time, 2013-ish.
We build from the ashes.
Exactly, comics, baby. But in general, Silk, this, very exciting stuff. I'm waiting for these shows to get off the ground, though, so I can be more confident in them.
Yeah.
But yeah, exciting nonetheless.
For sure. Well, Evan, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9, watching lots of anime, reading lots of books, struggling through the school year. That's pretty much it.
You find me at _TimeBlazer, making a TV show called Time Blazer. Me and Evan starring, Evan being the creative consultant.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, he doesn't know. Does he know?
I do know.
You know some things, you don't know where it's going.
Yes.
But yeah, it's fun. Can't wait. I've actually been, I was heavily working on the scene last night just to get a nice little promo shot out. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if not already, ring the bell so you don't miss future episodes of My Cup of Tea. Be there for the 100th episode spectacular, where we're gonna try to kidnap Carson and get him on for a celebration. I don't know. Maybe. Hope so.
Oh yeah.
With that being said, hope you guys have a great day. I'll catch you guys next time.